All right, go.
Yeah, 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it.
Yes, 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. And we will leave you with I can't do it. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it, and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks again for watching. We'll leave you with Sting and a cut off his new album. Take it away.
Just do it! Don't let your dreams yesterday set tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true! Just do it!
All right, you're going to standing? Okay. All right. Are you intimidating me? Because you're trying
Phone's it's about to die, so I had to.
All right. You know what? I got a standing desk too, Jace. I can stand up too. You think you're cool? Yeah, think I can't do a stream standing up, Jace?
Hey, what's going on? It's your man Julito McCullum from HBO's The Wire. Some people say it's the greatest TV show ever, but you are watching Fireside Chats with the homie Big Chief Burrito.
Hi, I'm Nick Mangold, 7-time Pro Bowler, and you are listening to Fireside Chats with Big Chief Burrito.
I appreciate your time, brother. Thank you very much for coming on the show today. The best of luck. Hey, what is up, everybody? What's up, mi gente?
Mi gente, hello. Are you ready?
Are you ready? How you doing today, Sofia?
I'm doing well. How are you, Mr. Big Chief Burrito?
Miss Sofia Car. Welcome to Mi Gente podcast episode 2. There's a bunch of rejected names like Mi Gentex. And
We said no to that. Also, the intro is very, very confusing.
Vanilla Beaners. Well, yeah, I mean, it's a temp intro.
It's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress. We'll get something more fiery, more Latino, more spice.
More fiery than Fireside Chats?
No, well, I'm just making this joke that they always say the fiery Latino.
Picante podcast. Oh my God, I just thought of a name. Okay.
No, it's all right. Mi Gente podcast dedicated to news, information, reactions to cultural and popular events with a Latinx point of view. Our new podcast endeavor. Thank you, everybody, for joining us live. Cyro says always late, but always on time. Yeah, that is
exactly.
That is the company motto.
When we say 8, we mean 8:10, 8:15. Come on, you know
close
this.
Close enough. We're
Latinos.
Yeah,
we're supposed to be late.
We'll get there eventually. But yeah, the Mi Gente podcast, our new endeavor, me and Sofia, jumping right into it. Super Sunday.
Hey.
What was your overall reaction to the Super Bowl experience this year?
Well, I thought Snoop Dogg was great. Let me tell you.
The halftime show.
Yeah, I paid very little attention to the game itself.
Right.
Yeah, so yeah, the Rams won. That was great, right?
Was it though? Well, I was in
Impartial, neutral.
I mean, I was impartial in terms of not really being a fan of either team, since I'm a
Hmm.
long-suffering New York Jets fan. But I did have a small wager on the game. I was in a pool with like 75 other people,
Hmm.
like a $25 pool for the full playoffs, where you picked winners and scores. And I was in the this is sort of a gambling problem. I was in the top four. I was in fourth place, and the top three plays got paid. First place was $1,000. And I was a few points behind the leaders, and the Rams were the favorites. So smart
Hmm.
money is, if you're ahead in the competition, you take the team that's favorite because they have the bigger chance of winning, and then you can stay in the top three. So I had to, as a matter of science and logistics, I had to take
Hmm.
the underdog. I had to take the Bengals, even though I thought the Rams were going to win.
Oh.
I had to take the Bengals, because that was the team. That was the only chance I had of leapfrogging the top three teams that I thought were going to take the Rams. And I was
Hmm.
right; they did, and it was a close game for a while.
It. Hmm.
It was,
It
and
was.
I was feeling it for a little bit. One of the things that you always look at in Super Bowls, is the halftime music as it pertains to the storylines. So, for example, I think it was the year that the Patriots won their first Super Bowl. It was like Tom Petty, and at Super
Hmm.
Bowl at the halftime, he wrote like he sang like "I won't back down" or something like that.
Hmm.
And then like the Patriots came back, or I don't remember what year it was. So so when Eminem was on there and he was doing "Lose Yourself," you only got one shot, and the Bengals were. I was like, yeah, the Bengals. They're gonna
Yeah.
channel all that Eminem energy, and they were doing pretty good until like the last 5 minutes, and then so if the bank so my point is, if the Bengals would have won, I probably was looking at like $900 the Rams
Oh.
losing, the Rams winning. Yeah, so I was heavy on the Bengals bandwagon. Because I
This
could have
is
paid.
personal. This is personal for you.
Yeah. This is definitely a personal,
Oh,
personal pain situation there.
damn.
Um, so yeah, so I'm a little bit at Big Chief Burrito on on Venmo or Cash App. Send me
Yeah.
money.
Send him money. Consolation
I'll
prize.
donations are welcome. Because
Yes. They're encouraged.
it was sort of a free roll because it was $20 that it cost me to be in this. So
And you got to the point where you could have gotten
yeah,
900 to
yeah.
$1,000.
Yeah, I would have won 1,000 bucks
Whew.
if the Bengals like scored would have stayed in the lead,
Oof.
or would have scored a touchdown. At that point, I would hit the score, and I would have hit the winner, and I would have passed the other three teams. So, but case of Rob Sarab,
Oh,
as they
it's
say.
okay. Yes.
It's a
E-
dog world.
Easy come, easy go.
Easy come, easy go. It's all
Did
right.
you get any money at all?
I hedged a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So since I
Because
knew
I know
that
there
if
are
the
like smaller bets.
Yeah, I hedged a little bit, because since I knew that if the Bengals won, I was going to make a lot of money. I did make a couple of smaller bets on the Rams, just
Mhm.
sort of hedge my bets, but nothing earth shattering, because the Rams were the favorite. So even if you put money on the Rams, you're basically betting $100 to win 50. Is basically how it works, because
Okay, gotcha.
they were big time favorites. But I did
Mhm.
think the most exciting part, other than losing the $1,000, was the halftime show.
Yeah,
And
I was screaming.
my pick was, I thought that it was, that they were going to start off with California Love. I
Hmm.
also had a bet on whether Eminem would wear a jersey or a hoodie. He did wear a hoodie.
We
Um,
are. This is all about just deconstructing your gambling
this
problem.
is my yeah. We'll get the prop bets out of the way. Eminem wears a hoodie. I hit that one. Snoop Dogg
Okay.
smokes on stage. He did not smoke on
Oh,
stage.
you
Doc,
didn't.
Dr. Dre performs first. I hit that one. Mary
Hmm.
J. Blige wears hoop earrings. Hit that one. And then the Bengals money line did not hit. Under 48 and a
No.
half. Yeah. Gambling problems. Yeah. I mean,
Did you gambling problems? Thank you, Syra. We need to get him to, I don't know, give him intervention or something.
look,
But for now, this is very fun.
no, look, like I've said before, when I was in 5th grade, my
Mhm.
dad would pull me out of elementary school, which I loved. I loved school. Would take me out of elementary school at 12 o'clock. I didn't get out of school till 3:30, but at
Mhm.
12 o'clock he would come pick me up, say somebody died or say I had a doctor's appointment or something. And the
Your
reason he would
dad,
take
man.
and the reason he would pick me up at 12 o'clock was so we could make it to the racetrack, Aqueduct or Belmont in New York,
Uh-huh.
and because he wanted to stay till the last race, which wasn't until 5 o'clock. So if he went to the racetrack without me, he wouldn't be back in time to pick me up from school. So you would take
Oh.
me out of school, and I'd be at Belmont or at Aqueduct, and surrounded by degenerate gamblers,
Hey, man,
and
priorities.
I was this little 8-year old kid just sitting there, and I knew how to bet the ponies, and I had my favorite jockeys, and so yeah, I was as Bane would say, "You merely adopted gambling. I grew up in it. I had no choice on my degenerate status.
It it chose you. You didn't choose it.
Yeah, the gambling life. Yeah, exactly.
Did you make a bet on 50 Cent coming in upside down,
I I saw
hanging
that
from a ceiling?
I saw that 50 Cent coming in as I was like 50 Cent. I was like, why the fuck would they have him 50 Cent? I
I
was
mean,
like, I understand.
I loved it, but why was he hanging from a fucking ceiling like a bat? I didn't get it.
I don't know, man. That was that beam must have been heavy duty because he looked a
Oh
little
yeah.
thickums.
Look, I wasn't gonna say nothing, and you're over here body shaming already.
He looked a little thickums. Well, we're gonna talk about body
Well,
shaming later.
we're gonna talk about this.
He looked a little thick, but
That's what we call foreshadowing.
foreshadowing. Oh yes,
Foreshadowing.
setting him
Yes.
up.
But yeah,
Uh,
I loved it, especially when Mary J. Blige came in. I don't know. It was I was in middle school when all these like, you know, rappers and singers were super big. Or I guess they were all in different generations. But Eminem, Mary J. Blige had her second Genesis in the early 2000s. Uh and 50 Cent as well. So those three were like, "Oh my god."
yeah,
I know that. Yeah.
no,
But
no,
you know,
absolutely. I
I know that Snoop
mean,
and Dre are big in the 90s, so that was amazing as well. I love Snoop. I love Dre.
Snoop I think did the best. Snoop I think
I
did the
think so
best out of
too.
everyone because he looked fit. He was out there fucking sea walking. He was out there fucking all right. Let me ask. Okay.
Was the best. I agree.
I
Mhm.
still think Prince in the Rain. Because remember, if you haven't seen the Prince halftime show, Prince
Mhm.
sang Purple Rain in the rain at the Super Bowl.
Mhm.
And they're like, Prince, it might be raining. And he's like, can you make it rain some more? The motherfucker was out there with an electric guitar in the middle of fucking monsoon, singing Purple Rain in front of like 100,000 people. I think that was in Miami. And then Michael Jackson's
Mhm.
Super Bowl halftime show was really good. I didn't like J Lo and Shakira because whatever.
Excuse me, I will die on a fucking hill saying that that was a great halftime show. Okay?
I uh
Shut up. You didn't
all
like
right.
it? How are
So
you a Latino? Hello.
I've seen. Well, I'm just saying. It was a really, really, really good halftime show. It was probably top 5 for me. I wouldn't put it at the best. I would put it definitely in the top 5. But I still think that. I also remember Paul
It's
McCartney
good.
did it. Paul McCartney did a Super Bowl show
Yeah.
a couple of years back that was fucking he fucking crushed it.
Yeah.
So for me, Prince still number 1, sang
Mhm.
Purple Rain with an electric guitar in the rain.
Mhm.
Michael Jackson number 2, and then probably this one number 3, just because it incorporates so many things that I like. And then
Yeah.
Tom Petty and maybe somebody else. I don't know.
Janet Jackson. I'm
Jan-
sorry. I'm so sorry.
I mean, I don't know. Cyro says here that was looking forward to Forgot About Dre, but I guess they would have had to bleep every other word. Yeah, they did a really good job of
Mhm.
censoring themselves, I thought.
Mhm.
The
They
other thing
did.
that I saw, I didn't appreciate the 50 Cent
Dizzy
hanging by
Miss
his way.
Lizzy.
He is 46 years old. Leave that man alone and be grateful he did that. Okay,
Thank you, Dizzy Miss Lizzy. Yes.
Lizzie. I was hoping that they did Stan, and I was hoping that they were gonna get like Mary J to do the Dido parts, but
Is he
um,
46? I actually had no fucking idea.
Yeah, they were all. They
That's
did the
great.
ages. They were like 51, 49. There was nobody younger than like 46. They were all almost
Yeah,
50. Eminem took
it
a
was
knee
insane.
at the end of his performance, which the
Mm-hmm.
NFL told him not to do, and he still did.
Really?
So that was another thing that I caught on Twitter. I think Mary J was she. It felt like she was lip singing the first part when she came out,
Mm-hmm.
but then afterwards it sounded like she was doing it for real. Everybody else sounded like they were on mic. Um,
50 Cent at the beginning also sounded like he was lip syncing a little bit.
yeah, but he was upside down. Like, I mean, if
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
upside down, the upside down thing made no fucking
No, no,
sense.
no, no. Wait, I was on your side, and then I thought, wait, who have I seen? Pink. Pink performs and does all this shit upside down, side to side, and she still is singing. Like it's a talent. I don't know how she fucking does it. So no, if you're gonna be upside down, fucking rap, okay?
But what's the best part about what I mean, when you look at Pink's stats as a
Hmm.
performer, do you think that her voice is like one of her strengths?
Oh, 100%. You need to see her live. I saw her live. Fucking yeah, majestic. Absolutely
Majestic.
one of my favorite. Yeah, one of my favorite performers of all time.
When we
100%.
get when we get more drops, that's where I'm gonna drop the that's high praise.
That's high praise.
That's high
It's well deserved.
praise.
It's well deserved though. Like she's a great performer,
Kurt,
especially live.
I'm gonna put this joke up on screen, but I'm not gonna say it because it's very
Oh,
corny and everybody on the internet is already using that
oh
joke. Yeah,
no,
yeah,
no,
it's
that's
that's
terrible. That's
I'm
terrible.
gonna put it up on screen, but I'm not gonna say it because that's corny. There. So I'm gonna save you from yourself on that one. So yeah, I put it top three: Prince,
Okay.
Michael Jackson,
Hmm.
this one, and then I guess Shakira and J Lo could be top five too. Um,
Mm.
do you
Where
remember? Do you remember any other major performances like Fergalicious?
honestly, honestly, no. I'm super bad because like I'll get so excited for the halftime show, but then I immediately forget and like I can't recall. Like I know Beyonce did it. Can't
Yeah.
remember if I liked it. Did I like it? I don't know. Was it good?
Uh,
Do you remember?
I remember the
I think
Beyonce
Destiny's
show.
Child came on for like a half song, and that was it. Right?
Stevie
2 songs.
Wonder, Justin
Hmm.
Timberlake did it. The Rolling Stones, 2006. Lady Gaga, 2017. Do you even remember that Lady Gaga did
I
it like
don't.
4 years ago?
No, I don't. I remember I watched it. I was there.
Maroon
Don't
5 did
remember.
it 2019. The
I,
Weekend last year. I do not remember anything about the Weekend except he was going through that glass little thing, right?
yeah, 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 yeah. I remember that one. I think I was the unpopular opinion of like I didn't like it. I was just like tuned out.
Bruno Mars, 2014.
I think I I
When did
think I
Nelly
liked
do it,
him. I think he
Dante?
was great. Nelly. Mm,
When did Nelly do it? Had to be like Atlanta or something, right?
I'm not
Bruno
sure.
Mars, 2014. I remember liking that one. He did a really good job. Jennifer Lopez and
Hmm.
Shahira, 2020.
Love it.
U2, 2002. No. Madonna,
Don't remember.
2012. Don't remember. Katy Perry, 2015. I remember there was a lot of theatrics in that one.
Yeah, that one was.
Like
It was boring because she was on top of things and
she
she
was
wasn't
like
really.
floating around the stadium.
Hmm.
Gaga also did that. Janet Jackson,
Hmm.
2004. That was the famous titty incident.
Yes.
Uh, that like launched 1,000 FCC
Yep.
investigations.
Have you seen the documentary? Listen, I am team fuck Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, for all the shit he did to her and
To
to
her and to Britney.
Beyonce
Mind
and
you, he
Destiny's
did
Child.
apologize, but still, it's like, come on, bro.
Yeah, and then yeah, they have Beyonce and Destiny's Child rated number three, and then Michael Jackson, 1993. Michael Jackson, and he was the one that started. I think it was at the Rose Bowl where he started like at the top of the stadium,
Hmm.
and then he somehow made it to the stage, and then Prince, 2007. If you haven't, go watch Prince 2007. Yeah, and then Katy Perry, Joe Climb tuning in, Left
Joe
Shark is
Klein.
hard. Yeah, uh, Gaga did flips in the air. I
Too.
support Justin Timberlake. Okay, yeah, man.
Dizzy Miss
Just
Lizzie, I support Justin Timberlake. Hey, thank you. Thank you.
even
I
though
s-
my go ahead.
well, I was just gonna say I support it too, to a certain extent, because I also know that there's many people that have benefited from, just circumstances of being a straight white male in the '90s. Um, so part
Y-
of me really blames him, but another part of me is like understanding in the sense of like, well, he is also a victim of his time. So
Yeah, absolutely. I
yeah.
do think that So if anybody else has another Super Bowl performance that they like, or the next thing I want to talk about is the commercials. So what was everybody's favorite commercial? I have a couple of notes here. Just to let me know. There was a couple. There was a few movie trailers. The
There
Multiverse of Madness.
was.
The Multiverse of Madness came out.
Hmm.
And then they only did a teaser, and then they dropped the whole trailer online, which was pretty cool.
Hmm.
You got to see. Uh, you got to see the Coinbase one that Lizzie's talking about. Was just the scan code, and if you had a
Uh-huh.
Coinbase account, you could enter it. But the Coinbase app was down right after that. Like I didn't know that was the code.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
my dumbass got up and I was like frantically trying to like connect it. Like I
QCR.
was like, no, and it kept moving and I was like, fuck. So I was moving it. And then it was just the fucking Coinbase app. I was like, damn, they got me. Damn it. They
But
got
if you
me. It was a
signed
good
up, I
one.
think if you signed up for it, you were entered into a drawing.
Fuck. I mean, I already have it. That's the problem.
Yeah, I already have Coinbase too. But
Yeah.
anyway, well, not a lot of it. The cable
Disney
guy
Miss
commercial.
Lizzie.
The
But Jim
cable guy
Carrey is
commercial.
iconic as always. What
Yeah,
was Jim
the
Carrey?
the Verizon wireless, the 5G
Mhm.
commercial where he played the cable guy again
Gotcha.
from his movie, The Cable Guy, which you
You know
obviously
which one
haven't
I
seen.
found super amusing? I think it might have been T-Mobile or something, but it was where Miley Cyrus and Dolly Parton and they were doing the like "We
Oh
Are the
God,
World."
I
You
hate
didn't
that one.
like it?
I
Oh,
hated
I
that one.
loved it. I thought it was a fun little nod to "We Are the World," and it just felt very
I
like that was funny.
the only
Ah,
other pairing I thought was less impressive than that one was the Mila Demi pairing
no.
where they
Okay, yeah, that one was total like clickbait. Like
yeah it was
it
kind of
worked though.
it's like oh we got a lot in common.
I know
And
there was no point to it, no punchline. I don't know. I don't. But
there was a
I love it.
there was a ton of electric vehicle shit like there was one
The
the electric car there was like three electric cars. There was a Kia electric car, there was a BMW
yes.
electric car with the
Mhm.
Zeus with Salma and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay,
Did
that
you
one
see
I
that one? That
missed.
that one was early. That one was early. That one I think was my favorite because it was Zeus,
Yeah.
and then Salma Hayek was his wife, and he was going around like shooting
Fuck,
electric
I
currents
missed
into
it.
everything, charging people's batteries and shit. And then
Oh, damn
she gave him
it.
an all electric BMW at the end. And then Kia also had an electric car, and then I think the Austin Powers one
That
for
one
was
was
it
great.
General Motors or was that Ford when they're like we're going all electric? That one was good.
Yeah.
The Mila Demi one seemed a little bit worse. In terms of movie trailers, yeah, that truck is hideous. In terms of movie trailers, the Multiverse of Madness with evil Doctor Strange with the goatee, which I always love when
Hmm.
they put the evil guy. They also did Maverick, the Top Gun movie.
Right. The
The
Jordan Peele one. What's it called?
Nope,
Nope.
and then the
Hmm.
Oscar Isaac Disney shoon.
Hmm.
Was that called Moon King or something?
Yeah.
Uh, Zendaya for the
Love
seashells
her.
one. Yeah,
You know?
I finally started watching Euphoria.
No, you did not. You
I
did?
did. Yeah, I
Oh,
did. I
how's it
finally
go?
started watching Euphoria, and I sort of understand why people are on her nuts about her talent, because just seeing her through Spider-Man, and I didn't see the married couple thing she did, and then I know she did like music videos and stuff like that too.
You mean you
Uh,
didn't see her in the award-winning show Shake It Up on Disney Channel?
I did not.
Loser. God, I'm aging myself, but yeah, no, I watched like one episode of that and I was like, "Oh, who's this Zendaya girl?" You know? And then she became a
No,
fucking star. I mean, good for her.
yeah, she's a beast.
Mhm.
Euphoria is really, really good. It's like prestige TV for this generation.
Mhm.
It's really well done. And I've only watched I think the first 3 or 4 episodes of the first season, so I'm not caught up or anything. I just barely started
No, I think I'm
watching.
in the same spot. I've seen like 2 or
Yeah.
3.
Yeah, and right away I'm like, fuck, it's brutal, but it's also very beautifully shot and it's also very well done. What do you I mean, you a fan of the show?
Well, yeah, so I've watched again, I'm only going based on like 2 or 3 episodes. I don't hate it. I do like it. Dizzy Miss Lizzie said, "I'm still trying to ignore Euphoria, but it's hard." I know. You should give it a shot, Lizzie. You should actually like just give it a shot, see if you like it. For
I
me,
resisted it for like
oh wow.
since it came out. Since it came out, I've been resisting it.
I've been resisting it, yeah, as well, but then I just caved and I was like, "All right, I'm gonna watch it." And I do like it. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm going to continue watching it just to see what happens. But I will say it has a lot of the notes that I said for How I Met Your Father, where it just feels like a How I Met Your Mother for this generation. For me, I grew up on the show Skins. I don't know if you remember, but there was like Skins UK, Skins US, and it was essentially the same, theme. It was teenagers doing drugs, exploring sexuality, going through like trauma and like all these things. And that was my show in high school. That was my go-to. I fucking love Skins. I rewatch it as an adult and I cringe because I'm just like, ew. I can't believe I like thought that was cool or whatever. But I thought that some of the themes and topics that they like touch on were super helpful, especially as like a queer young, teen. So for me, that was Skins, and I super love it. Euphoria, I watch it, and I do see myself a little more like sympathetic towards the parents. Like I'm like, Rue, you fucking suck. Your poor mom. Like I see it more sympathetically towards the adults than the kids. The kids, I'm more like I get it, but fuck, I'm also annoyed. Um,
Hmm.
so I get it. I feel like this generation is probably super helpful for some teens out there. But it's not. It doesn't hit me at my core. But I'm enjoying it. I like it. I just don't think I'm the demographic for it. So
Really,
that's
you
where
get
I'm at.
if you are you feeling that old?
Yeah, I am. I mean, like, yeah, yeah.
Huh?
I went through that phase already. That like, angsty teen. Like I'm going through like this heavy shit. Like I'm in my like. I'm like I'm an adult. I'm an adult. I already went through that phase. I'm kind of more a little more. I don't know. I don't feel that angsty. Like, it's beautiful. I do love it. And I think that it'll probably help a lot of teenagers. There's the argument about the drug usage. What do you think about that? Do you think that it is condoning drug usage for teens, glorifying it?
Um, I I'm sort of interested in figuring out if I'm sort of interested in talking about this with somebody who might have had some drug addiction problems, honestly,
Mhm.
because I really would like to see how an addict feels about that. Kind of like you would get, World War II vets to go watch Saving Private Ryan or something to see like how do
Right.
you think it went. So so that's kind of my only pause is that I kind of wanted to see. I think that's like, I mean, the Johnny Depp movie, in Las Vegas, whatever.
Yeah. Lost and
Fear,
Delirious.
fear,
Fear
fear,
and Loathing. Fear and
fear.
Loathing. I was like, what am I thinking about? Fear and
You made
Loathing in Las
you
Vegas.
you
Yes.
made the bootleg copy.
No, that's the movie too. I don't know where I got that from. Anyway.
Fear and
I
Loathing. So
Fear
Fear
and
and
Loathing.
Loathing, they do more drug in that book. They do more drugs in the first two pages of that book than I've done my entire life.
That is funny.
Um, and does that, does Hunter Thompson glamorize? I mean, you could say that
Some might
about
argue
Blow.
some might
You say
argue
that
that those are meant for adults. They're not meant for the teen audiences.
you could have said the same thing about Blow or does The Godfather. I mean, yeah, it's art, and they're definitely being edgy or pushing the envelope in terms of like the characters and really the honesty. And I'm just part of the way through the first film. And and there was a movie that came out when I was younger called Kids, which was about
Yes.
kids in New York and sex and drugs and diseases and shit
Mm,
like that.
yeah.
I
Wow, that's
just think
bringing me
this is
back to sorry, I was just gonna bring up that movie. Do you remember the movie 13 with, what was that? Evan something girl? Sorry. You don't remember that one? It was the same thing, same idea,
is it
drugs,
like
but they were
13 Reasons?
13. No, they're 13-year-old girls just
Like
doing
that I
drugs
don't
and
want that I don't like watching.
having sex. It was
Like like 13 Reasons Why, which was the suicide show. I didn't feel like watching that. Like
Oh,
that's
I
that's
I actually watched it and I really enjoyed it, but man, is it sad.
yeah. See, like stuff like that is I think that's worse than the Evan Rachel Wood says Dizzy.
Evan Rachel Wood, thank you. Yes, I was like that Evan girl, the bisexual one that I used to love.
Or The Buffalo Run with Bill Murray is another movie, says Kurt. I think so.
Mhm.
Kids. There's always been movies like that, and I think this is the latest uh iteration, whatever, uh
Iteration.
iteration of that sort of genre. But it's really well done. I just
Yeah, it is.
visually, the music, the editing, the storytelling, the performances, just getting those kids. There's a lot of dicks in the first couple episodes. That was one thing. It was like so many dicks
Spoilers
everywhere.
for Lizzie. God,
Many dicks
so
appear
much
in
dicks.
like the dick to boob ratio is way off. Way
Gotta
off.
love it. Gotta love it. 2022. Yes.
They're just dudes hanging dong everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so that's a sidetrack on Euphoria, which I was like, should I start watching Euphoria or should I start watching Cobra Kai? Those were the two, because my theory has always been that if you say you're bored in 2022, you're not really trying that much, because
There's
there's
so
always something. So
much.
I always keep 2 or 3 shows or movies that I know I'm gonna like for when I feel I have nothing to watch.
Yeah.
So when I'm like, and then one of my goals for this year was to watch less things that I've already seen. So
Right.
like I don't want to watch The Godfather for the 800th time. I'd rather go watch something that I haven't watched. I don't
It's
want to
so
go watch.
good.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm saying is that I'm trying to not necessarily rewatch things unless I haven't watched them in a very long time. I'll go back and, like, I went back and I rewatched The Fly recently
I
because I
get
hadn't
you.
seen it in forever. But I do. So I always keep a couple of things locked and loaded.
Mhm.
Euphoria, this, that. Also, The Boys on Amazon is another show that I want to watch. But I was like, all right, I got HBO Go. Let's do it, and I was hooked right away. Like, I was trying to. How I know a show is good for me is I can't multicast when I do it, because I had my editing
Mhm.
up and I was like playing around with something, doing something on Photoshop or whatever, and I had it on in my other screen, and I was just like, I kept turning. I was like,
Yeah.
and then I was just sitting there for like 5 minutes. I'm like, all right, cool. Oh shit, what's happening now? What's going on?
Yeah.
Who's this person? And I was just
Mhm.
like into it. So good job, Euphoria. Not that they need
Nice.
my support; they're fucking crushing it. Um, and
Oh yeah.
and our boy Dominic, I guess, is in a scene in season 2. So I want to get caught up so that
Ooh, does he come out for a fair amount of time, or is he like in the background? Where should I
he,
look out for him?
he had to. It's a strip club scene, and I guess he's getting a lap dance.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it was a tough day on set for him.
Yeah, that's what I
He,
was gonna say. I was like,
he,
wow, so
he had to
hard.
have booty cheeks in his face.
Oh no, poor Dom.
Drugstore Cowboy, another great drug use film. There's a million, man. One of my
So
favorite
many.
movies of all time, Requiem for a Dream.
Mm,
Uh, Requiem is a brutal film about heroin use, and I
wow.
don't think, even though it's a fucking awesome movie, I don't think that it's not. I mean, at least they're showing consequences, not only the good part. And I think even one of the monologues she says is like, they're like talking about the drugs are good, but also they fucking suck because your
Hmm.
family has to find you dead or some shit or whatever.
God damn. God
All right.
damn. All right, coming
Speaking
back.
of, speaking of commercials,
Here we
we
go.
would be remiss if we didn't shout out our sponsor, Mestizo.
Mestizo.
Mestizo Coffee, top shelf Mexican flow. Um, Basically, this is organic, single origin, fair trade coffee, just like you would get at Starbucks, just like you get anywhere else. The only difference is it is made for, well, not necessarily for, because everybody can drink the coffee, but it is made by Latinos. It is a Mexican American owned company in Los Angeles, and they partnered up with Colombians, Peruvians, different people in the coffee industry, and basically it's gourmet coffee made for Latinos. They have fruity flavors. They have the Mexican bomb. They have where's the one that I'm drinking right now? Is and dude, they also have like
Yeah, hoodies and
uh,
shirts. Oh my
they have,
god.
they have like hoodies. Oh, this is the one that I'm drinking, the tonic.
There you go.
The tonic, 420 in one Colombian single origin, certified fair fades made with organic funk, 100% real spill. And they're a sponsor of the show. Use the code Big Chief and you can get 10% off anything store wide on any coffee, but also on the hoodies. On the let's check it. Yeah. You get up in the morning.
Fifi.
You got the Kafifi shirt with the Mexican colors there. I mean, come on.
Yes.
That is the drip is real. So
Yeah,
get
that's
your
nice.
get your drip better. Go to mestizo.coffee, use code Big Chief and get 10% off any of your purchases. Thanks to you for being a sponsor of the show.
Thank you, Mestizo.
Finishing up on the commercials, I had a couple of other notes. The avocados from California commercial had zero
From
Mexicans in it.
Mexico. Avocados from Mexico.
Zero Mexican people in the commercial.
That's a good point, actually.
The avocados from Mexico commercial
Had no Mexicans.
had no Mexicans in the commercial. I thought the E-Trade baby was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
The baby Dexter that was out in the wilderness, and then they had to go get him. The Disney goats.
Push it. I don't know what commercial that was for. I just remember the vibes and the visuals. I don't know what they were selling me. I have no idea. It was a fox, and they were in the wilderness, and they were like singing Salt and Pepper.
I remember Salt and Pepper. There was just a bunch of animated animals that there. There was that cheap. There was a super cheap animation NFL commercial where all the players came out of they were playing with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
The animation looked so fucking cheap. It was like bootleg, like North Korean animation.
You think
like,
so? The one where they were like smaller, like
they were smaller, like little animated versions of all these famous football players that got
that was
sucked.
not my initial takeaway. Wow.
I don't know. Okay, given maybe on my TV it was looking a little crappier. I don't know if I was getting an issue with my cable box, but I did not like it. And I did not like, because I'm not a big Miley Cyrus fan.
I love her.
As much as I love Dolly Parton, I am anti Miley myself.
You gotta listen. I know we're gonna get to this, but the Joe Rogan podcast, he had Miley Cyrus on.
Recently?
No, years ago, like maybe 1 or 2 years ago. Fascinating her life. My God, you should listen to it. I gained a lot of respect and perspective on her after that.
My Miley rant has always been that she is a textbook appropriator. She basically embodied, African American culture for 2 or 3 years. Was outrageous to the point where, with her outfits, her back's dancers, she's shaking her non-existent booty, doing like basically she just completely went full on like hip hop R&B, like total appropriation of the culture, right? She made her money, she did her thing, and then she just said, all right, I'm good. I'm going back to wholesome country. I'm going to do Metallica covers. I'm going to go back to fucking like sweaters and like fucking coffee shop fucking folk night. And I understand as an artist, you're allowed to do that. And maybe if you love Miley and you see her, you're like, yeah, I can understand, blah, blah, blah. She was being true to herself. Myself, I have a problem with somebody who parks themselves in somebody else's culture, makes a ton of money from it. And then when they're done with it, says, all right, now I'm going to go back to my base because all my Hannah Montana fans are in their 30s now, and now I can go make some more money on contemporary music. So that is where my Miley hate comes from. And also she did a cover on the Stern Show recently of Nothing Else Matters by Metallica, which was fucking pukifying. It was so bad, so bad. No, she did a cover, and with Metallica, like they had her come on and sing Nothing Else Matters, which is a fucking awesome Metallica song. But she did a fucking horrible job. So that's why as soon as I see her, I'm just like, rah, rah. The only thing I like about Miley Cyrus is when they used to do the Miley Cyrus show on SNL. That skit used to be good, where it was like the one girl that she played like, this is the Miley Cyrus show, and just overtalked.
With that accent.
Accent.
Listen, for me, I'm not here to defend her. I'm not a Miley stan or anything like that, so you're not gonna catch me doing any of that.
Mhm.
But I will say, she is a kid who grew up in the industry, and during that appropriation time, that was a Robin Thicke times, and there needed to be, from her publicity team, there needed to be something shocking to continue and stuff like that. So I'm not here to defend her. I'm just saying that people do shit in the industry. Justin Timberlake still sucks. A lot of, yeah, exactly. Thank you. So Disney Music says she's definitely went through a phase, but lots of Disney child stars do. Yeah. So if you're gonna write off Miley Cyrus, there's a whole list of people that you have to write off as well. You can't just say like Miley, you appropriated, and then not also hate every Disney star that kind of did the same thing. Because Justin Timberlake is the worst appropriator if we're gonna talk about that. Homeboy, he even talked with like an urban accent when he's a little white boy from wherever the fuck. Right. He had the curly hair when that's not his, like he was basically like a white boy trying to act like a black guy. Let's be honest. Um and that was his thing. And the reason why he was palatable to the audiences was because he's a white boy. And yeah, he's like street and he's a little urban, but he's a white boy. So no, so like let's just say like you can hate on Miley Cyrus, but then that means that you have to hate on every single Disney star that has been churned through that system. Because she was
Well,
also part of that as well. So
the only difference is that Justin Timberlake didn't have a commercial this year, so that's why we're talking about her
I
specifically.
mean that's fine. I'm just saying if it was, I'm just saying
Well,
that
just because
you
I have
have
a
a
problem
valid
with
reason, but
just because I have a problem with Miley Cyrus, it's because, and I'm bringing up the Miley Cyrus problem because I saw her on a commercial and you guys were defending her. That doesn't mean it's the space for me to. But I also hate Justin Timberlake. Yeah, Justin Timberlake is a major.
and it doesn't have to be Justin. It could be like literally just any Disney star. I feel like they all have to have a shocking moment where their PR just sits them down and says, "Hey, you're gonna do this shit now." So I don't know. I don't love her. I don't hate her. I'm just kind of like, all right. I love that you can sit at your age and talk about your drug abuse issues and how you fucked up and all that stuff. I really enjoy that. So that's cool.
um
She's doing her thing, living in
Aquafina,
a ranch.
Aquafina, who's another accused of culturally
Appropriation.
appropriated or black scent.
Mhm.
Also had the Disney commercial. She was very non-black scentish when she was
Right.
walking around the Disney goats. Uh, all the
Yeah,
Bud Light
true.
commercials were the worst. Those were the ones that were like the Bud Light no carb commercials were all horrible.
Mhm.
The one that tried to do the fake was the Liquid Death, the water cans where they had all the kids chugging cans of water, and then they had the pregnant lady chugging the can of water.
Have you
And I
tried
knew
liquid death before?
it's just fucking water.
It's just fucking
It's
water, but it's
just
not even good
water.
water. It doesn't
It,
taste good.
it's yeah. Thanks for stopping by, Cyro. Hopefully we catch you guys before the end. Yeah, that's fine. Just leave your tab open.
Thank you for coming, Cyro.
just just leave a thumbs up and leave your tab open. I'm sorry. I'm just
There you
kidding.
go.
So yeah, that was the one that tried to be like sensation. I mean, everything was pretty lame. The other one that the Alexa commercial was they played that one a lot. A lot of it was NBC related. They really promoted the fuck out of Peacock, and I mean, obviously, the main reason a network wants to host the Super Bowl is because of the ads that you get. You get what, $2 million for a 30-second ad, but also
Mhm.
you can pick the best placement for your own ads. And right after the halftime show, and right after every major moment, there was always the Peacock NBC show. They did a pretty good job, but it
Yeah,
did
they
feel.
did.
The last one I saw was the McDonald's, the Kanye commercial.
I missed so much of it. Oh my god, I was such a casual viewer. I'm so sorry. I have no notes.
That was earlier. No, I had my notes. I had my notes the whole time.
I missed a good like yeah, I want to say like 30 minutes of the game. To like an hour. I don't know. I got here late.
Yeah, it's all right. It's okay.
Fine.
I took it for the. I mean, I was heavily invested. So
It's good.
the story of this Super Bowl is I lost. Well, I didn't lose because it wasn't like I was it
Can't
was
lose what
money
you never had.
I never had. Can't lose whatever. But I lost. The Bengals. The Bengals would have won. And it would have been close to 47 points. So I would have won an extra. I would have won $1,000.
Oh
I didn't.
man, I'm sorry,
So
bud.
just go ahead and use that at Big Chief Burrito, Venmo, or Cash App. Throw me a couple bucks.
Woe is you. Woe
Yeah.
is you, sir.
Lizzie says her favorite commercial was the Lay's Paul Rudd Seth Rogen commercial.
I will. Oh my god, yes, I was gonna bring that up. That was pretty good. A little cheesy, but I liked it. I mean,
Cheesy.
anything Paul Rudd and Seth Rogen. I mean, you gotta love it, right?
It was like a little mini. It was like
He
a little
married a
mini.
ghost.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I was like, when he wasn't freaked out by the ghost, I was like, oh, he's marrying that ghost.
He's
I already
marrying
know
that
that.
ghost.
And then the biggest takeaway on the game itself was that there were no penalties for like most of the game, and then at the end it became like a bunch of penalties. That was the only kind of gameplay note that I had, because it's weird to see a big game like that where they're not constantly like
Mhm.
3/4 of the game was like no penalties, and at the end it was like, yeah, we're gonna throw this flag here and there. So I thought LA was gonna struggle because they were in their own home, and just the fact that they were sleeping in their own beds with all their family and people asking for
Mhm.
tickets. I thought maybe that I always hear from Super Bowl teams that they like the business attitude of having to go stay at a hotel. You're going on a work trip,
Right.
you're going to work, versus you're at home, you're playing the Super Bowl at home, more pressure, more people around you. But
That makes sense.
the Rams did their thing. They have a tough defense. The Bengals made it interesting. So, any
Mhm.
other Super Bowl thoughts for you?
Um, Let me see. None that I can think of. Why did they not use their timeout at the end? I mean, I know they were still gonna lose, but I don't
Yeah,
think I've seen a Super Bowl where they just kind of like let it like, all right, it's done, and then the timer was
y-
still going. I was like, oh,
you
I haven't seen that before.
because they could only stop the clock one more time, and because it would have been pointless because then they down it
Mm.
on the next play. And the only
Yeah,
thing you're hoping there is that when they take the snap, they fumble it like when they
yeah, or
take the
something like that.
and but I think the two coaches know each other and stuff like that, and it was like, hey man, fuck it, you
They were
guys.
like, good
That
job, just good job.
the Bengals took a shit on that last drive because they took too long, and then they threw that long ass pass on the
Mhm.
second, and then they tried to run it, they didn't get it, and then they had a horrible play on that fourth down, and
Yeah.
they didn't get it, and the game was over. But yeah, overall decent commercials. Halftime
Mhm.
show was the fucking shit.
I loved
Pro-
I felt like a it felt like a love letter to the West Coast, honestly. LA won, then the halftime show was all about, West Coast. So I loved it. It's great. Good times.
West Coast and all that. All right.
Good times, good people. I know. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry to you. I had to bring that up.
It was a good listen. I was I that's why I thought California Love was going to be the first song,
Mm-hmm.
because we're in California.
Cali.
The Super Bowl was
Mm-hmm.
in California. Inglewood is mentioned in the song. And they were playing in Inglewood, but they used Still Dre as the beat in all of the previews for the halftime show featuring Dre, and
Mm-hmm.
they played the beat every single time. Dizzy, I was talking to her on Twitter, and she said no, there's gonna be still Dre, and I was like, yeah, probably.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like
Oh
I
yeah.
said. But other than that, moving on to other topics.
Yeah. I have a lot to talk about today.
All right, what are we gonna tackle first?
All right. Shall we start with personal news or start in the Latinx? What would you like?
Latinx news.
All right, let's start there.
All right, here's something that I found the other day that was doing the round. Okay,
Yep.
the problems with Javier Bardem's recent comments on Latin America. Basically, Javier Bardem is a fucking incredible actor.
From
Uh,
Spain.
from Spain, so he's a conquistador.
Joder, España.
España. He eats a lot of paella, and
Mhm.
they take naps. And he was nominated for Being the Ricardos, which is a movie that's on Amazon. That is the story. It's not the story of Lucy and Ricky. It's basically a fragment of their life that's been Sorkinized. When I say
Mhm.
Sorkinized, Aaron Sorkin is a brilliant writer, but as I've said many times
A lot of
on the
dialogue.
podcast, a lot of dialogue. If you look up Sorkinisms on YouTube, you'll get a mega clip of how he reuses dialogue continuously from one show to a movie to stuff like that. He
Mhm.
he does the same bits over and over,
Yep.
and he's the master of the walk and talk, where people are walking and talking, and they
Yep.
also and it's always this conversation where two people are talking and they're having this conversation, and then one of them will just say something off the wall like, "Do you like beluga whales?" The other person's like,
Yeah.
"What?" Like they'll just throw a curveball in the conversation, and then blah blah blah, and it's always the sing-songy dialogue, blah blah. I mean, that being said, Moneyball and the Facebook movie, The Social
Mhm.
Network, I can rewatch over and over because they're so good. So I mean, he's brilliant, but he's also a little hacky. It's a weird relationship with him.
It is,
But
yeah.
being the
Love and hate.
Ricardos is a Sorkinization of the Lucy and Desi movie. And initially, when he was cast,
Mhm.
he people were already up in arms because they cast a Spaniard to play a Cuban. I mean,
Yeah.
realistically, there was a lot of Spanish blood in Cuba, you know.
Mhm.
So, but Spaniards, as much as they are Hispanic, are
Mhm.
also conquistadors.
The conquistadors. Yeah, yeah.
So my thought was conquistador is going to conquista, and he's basically his quote was, "Hablemos de las minorías españolas. ¿Cuántos personajes españoles hay en el cine internacional? Ninguno. Hay personajes latinoamericanos. Yo sé de lo que hablo cuando hablo de minorías. Let's talk about Spanish minorities. How
Let's
many?
break because
Let me just.
well, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
How many Spanish characters exist in an international cinema? None. There are Latin American characters. I know what I'm talking about when I talk minorities.
Mhm. So there's a few things there, right? Because what I'm willing to give him is the fact that he is correct that in Hollywood, at least in my search, I couldn't find that many Spanish, I guess, directors, writers, filmmakers as a whole that are very prevalent, right, and famous
Mhm.
in Hollywood. So I'll give him that. That's all I'm giving him. I don't think he understands, and I don't like the fact that he says like "Y yo entiendo de minorías," but then he clearly shows that he is not understanding of what the word minority means. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, there's also I mean, okay, so there's two different issues for me. Number one is he's a conquistador. He doesn't get to say anything about minorities.
mhm,
He just doesn't get to say that. He doesn't get to just sit there and be like, "Oh, well, no, you're not. You are literally the conquistador of most of the most of Latin America. The reason for mestizo coffee is
mhm,
because the Spaniards raped and pillaged, and the offspring they looked like us.
mhm.
They looked in between indigenous and European.
Yep.
So, and these are things that are deeply ingrained in the culture in Mexico and South America.
Mhm,
There's still the racists today in South America are usually the ones that say, we didn't come from the mountains, we came on ships. And they're saying, oh,
yeah.
we're not from the indigenous region here. We're ancestors of the ones that came on ships. So there is still
Mhm.
a big divide in Latin America, but it's a huge thing. So for
Hay
you
que
to come and
adelantar la
say,
raza. Mhm,
yeah, so this has been like, okay, I remember there was 700 submissions for San Diego Latino Film Festival.
mhm,
And unless a Spanish film had a lot of Latinidad in it, if it was just a Spanish film and it just qualified for Latino Film Festival because it was in Spanish, I looked at it with a little bit more microscopic lens because our mission statement was to showcase Latinidad, Latinx
Latinidad.
experience on the stream.
Mhm.
And even though the movies are in Spanish, if they're coming from Spain, I don't feel that they necessarily Rosa stopping by. Rosa
Hi,
from Rosa's
Rosa.
review. Rosa para the Latinx lens. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank
Um,
you.
so my thought process was that you don't get to say that, and I think Rosa was one of the first people that I saw that posted this where I got this link from.
Mhm,
So in my mind, you don't get to make that call. And when I
mhm,
was watching films like that, I did give it a critical eye. I'm not afraid to say that because I feel that over the last couple of years, there's been this clarification of what it means to be Latino, whether it's Alec Baldwin's wife, not speaking with an
Don't talk
accent,
about that again. Oh my goodness.
right? Or and what
Yeah.
it means to be that. So although Spain is a beautiful country and they have a great culture, and we obviously are greatly influenced. Half of our bloodlines come from there.
Through
Um,
force, but yes.
then, but I absolutely feel that it is out of place for him to say that.
No, I completely agree. I don't know. Okay, so here's the thing. We had just been talking about in the last podcast, I think we talked about the do you have to be essentially the ethnicity of who you're playing or whatever, or should we let actors act? So there was that part of me where I'm like, right? Thinking about that, trying to be, like you said, neutral, centrist, and all of that. But then there was a Latina side of me that's, just felt it was very obvious. Like, yes, Spaniards are the conquistadores. So there is a history and there is a trauma that we have all faced because of, these happenings. And then also just the fact that you're a European country separates you from South America. Um, and the Americas as a whole. So I don't understand. I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is that it doesn't get me as mad that he got the part as much as it is the bullshit that he's spitting after the fact, because he is not understanding his privilege as a whole. He's not understanding the differences and the definition of the word minority. And he is almost like spitting on our history, it feels like, unlike our traumas and our experience, because he has the privilege to be a European descendant of conquistadores, and he feels entitled to have these roles. And I understand that Spanish people don't have enough roles in Hollywood. I get it. That doesn't mean that you are entitled to all the Latino characters that are written, just because you speak Spanish, So I don't know. That's my 2 cents. What do you think?
I agree from a casting perspective that if
Mhm.
Javier Bardem was interested in being in my movie, that I even if he was playing like a Cuban or a Colombian,
Mhm.
I might consider casting them if it was going to help my movie get made. The Hollywood perspective is that the casting process is about the biggest return on your investment and making the most money and making sure the film is successful, and about being able to put names on movie posters and on DVD boxes that'll sell in China because they need recognizable name. It's the same
Mhm.
reason that I think like Al Pacino's brother or dad and Quentin Tarantino's dad act in horrible movies that then market as Tarantino, Pacino, but
Mhm.
it's not them. They just want to be able to put Tarantino and Pacino on a box and sell that. Um, and my take has always been that it should be up to each individual filmmaker because it's their art. At the end of the day, if you're going to put written and directed by, and you're the casting person and you're the
Mhm.
director and you want to cast this person, I just think that for me, I would exhaust all other possibilities
Yes.
before I make that. I I would want my goal would be to try to cast somebody that's native to the part
Mhm.
for such an iconic character.
Yes.
Would it have been the same controversy if they would have gotten like John Leguizamo
Mm.
to play Ricky Ricardo? That was something that I saw. If it was
Mhm.
John Leguizamo instead of Javier Bardem, John Leguizamo is what, Mexican Colombian, Colombian
Think so. I'm not entirely sure, actually.
Colombian Ecuadorian, or Colombian just Colombian or something like that.
Mhm.
Would that have been less of an issue? And like they had an Australian woman play Lucy. You know, Nicole Kidman is not American; she's
Yeah,
Australian.
that's
So,
true.
and then Aaron Sorkin was like, Aaron Sorkin also said some stupid shit while promoting the movie as well. That basically says, no, 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 we did the research. We talked to a Latino, and they said Javier Bardem was fine. So, and then enslaved by vegetables. That's the original point, right? The original point is, well, in Shakespearean plays, the males play the female roles, right? First,
Exactly.
you know, yeah, that's how it started, and then that was the majority of acting theater for what, 500 years.
Mhm.
Then movies come around. Women are allowed to be in movies, but people that look like us or African Americans were not allowed to be in movies. Native Americans were played by people with shoe polish or bronzer.
Hmm.
They made Rita Moreno darken herself up, and everybody in West Side, the original West Side Story, looked
What's
like
the story? Yeah.
they were working in a mechanic shop for 44
Yeah.
hours.
They're all white.
Yeah, so for a long time, only men could play parts. For a long time, it was only white males and females that could do it. And then, I mean, also Spain has its own cinema. It's got its own thriving
Hmm.
thing, and I don't know. So I can understand what he's trying to say. I just think it's incredibly misguided.
Yeah.
I more support it from the point of view of if a studio wants to make money, they can make whatever casting decision they have. As a filmmaker, I just want it to feel clean about it. I would first want to make a very strong effort for
Yeah. No, I think we're in agreement on that one for sure.
it. Let me catch up on comments here. Dizzy Miss Lizzie says, "Being the Ricardos was a one-time watch for me." Yeah, I watched it once just to see it.
I actually haven't
Uh,
seen it. Is it good? What are your reviews?
Not
Not
once did I
once.
believe he was that. It's a interesting little thing about a little small period of time between Desi and Lucy, and it's basically like Desi and Lucy, the social network, basically. Um,
Gotcha.
and basically, I felt like they should have casted a Cuban actor. Yeah, um, only
Only
because
because
Hollywood takes
Hollywood
it.
can. Sorry, go ahead.
You can see it.
Only because Hollywood tends to just put Spanish-speaking actors all together in one category. I agree.
Yeah, and Charleston Heston played in Mexican and won an award in Film Jam. Yeah, and the first black woman nominated for an Oscar wasn't allowed to go to the from Gone with the Wind. She wasn't allowed to go to the ceremony.
Hmm.
So yeah, are we in an overcorrection? Absolutely.
Yes.
Um, and is it a slippery slope where the acting profession and filmmaking might be changed forever because of primarily wanting to cast people in roles that they are more native to? I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. And is that necessarily wrong? Because I mean, if I was doing the casting, I would feel like you would want to start with the Cuban perspective and then work your way out. If you don't find anybody, then okay, open it up to South Americans. Okay, then yeah, but they make it seem like they went straight for Javier Bardem right away, which
Yeah, like he knew he wanted him in the movie, and
yeah,
that's fine because Javier
100%.
Bardem is an incredible actor, and
He's great.
so
No, yeah, I
I
love him.
understand it.
Yeah,
But
understandably
Nicole Kim
so.
is not a natural redhead.
That's
um,
true.
as they say in Jurassic Park, life finds a way.
Hmm.
Speaking of which, let me see. Rosa chiming in here. Bini Ricardo says, "Bad. Watch the documentary Lucy and Desi, directed by Amy Poehler, coming out in early March on Amazon Pride." I'm going to, Rosa, just because you're a Rotten
Yeah, if Rosa
Tomatoes
says so, we
approved
got
critic.
we got to watch it.
Whatever Rosa
I
says
did not
about
know
it.
Amy Poehler. She directed. What did she do?
And Rosa, we want to do a
Directed by Amy Poehler. Yeah.
a pre-Oscar sort of breakdown, and we would love to have you on for that either next week, one of the following couple of weeks.
Hmm.
Um, I will tweet you about that.
Hmm.
The last thing, and this is another thing, I haven't
Okay.
seen it yet, but Nightmare Alley, um, Guillermo del
Nightmare.
Guillermo del Toro, um, very white cast. So that's the other thing.
Really?
Guillermo del Toro is notorious. He's a Mexican American filmmaker.
Wow.
Labyrinth, The Shape of Water, Pan's Labyrinth, and just always cast a bunch of white people. And
Yeah.
so it's kind of a weird situation where it's like if your own people are not putting you in the movies, then you know
Hmm.
you could get mad. Sounds good. I'm in for Oscar conversation. Good to hear, Rosa. I will follow
I
up with you.
love it, Rosa.
Thank you very
Yes.
much. Thank you very much for
Thank you.
stopping by. So yeah, so Nightmare Alley is another one. So that's the conversation, right?
I have a feeling this is going to be an ongoing conversation, probably every pod, because we are in an overcorrection, and I don't know. There's no line. Because how do you feel about that? I mean, Guillermo del Toro. Are we are we like necessarily responsible for having to write for our own people? Personally, it would bring me much joy. But Guillermo del Toro, I don't know. Do you think that he should do it in every single project? Do you think that he should have a better balance? Do you think that he is wrong for casting primarily white actors, etc.?
Look, the first movie that me and Brian made, Brian wrote it. He's African American. I directed. I'm Latino, and our lead character was a white male.
Mhm.
Now, is that because more majority of the films that we watched growing up were all had white, and was that ingrained into us where the first time we wrote a script together, we had a white male as a lead, or did
Is
we
he
just make the choice to make, or was it just a choice that we made, you know?
right?
In other films, well, you can see the poster right here for
Mhm.
Slapworthy, rom-com, Latina lead,
Hello.
blacklisted African American lead.
Mhm.
I mix it up. I try to mix it up. We always try to be the United Colors of Benetton, be diversified. So
Mhm.
um, I can only talk for myself. Like I said, in order for me to feel clean about this new way of casting, I feel like I just want to make an effort
Yeah.
and really do it. That way, I can at least say I tried.
Yeah. And I think it also has a lot to do with the at least putting in an effort when there's characters that aren't necessarily like of a certain ethnicity, like they could be anything basically,
Just
and it doesn't
marginalized
really
groups.
matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, not necessarily. So like they could be white, they could be black, they could be Latino, they could be whatever. Like they're written in a way that like it's not necessarily like they have to be
Oh yeah.
Cuban.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So
No.
if you're
Exactly.
writing in that way, you should also cast in that way. And so I think that that's where I get a little, I don't know, annoyed at Guillermo del Toro because like a lot of his characters like aren't necessarily, they're written in a way where it could be any color. It doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't, it's not, doesn't necessarily change the script too much if you cast somebody of color. So yeah, I'll say that much.
Yeah. We've
If
always written. I think we've always had an open ethnicity policy on any
Mhm,
character, whereas anybody's allowed to audition for anything, and if we see that it works better as a woman or if it works better
mhm,
as a man, then we're open to that. Where I would definitely make sure that I was covering my bases was if I thought about working in some um differently abled or transgender characters in future
mhm,
projects. I think that those are the two areas where, because even one of the things that Sorkin said in the that people gave him shit for, which was like, well, you can't play Cuban, then what's the point of acting? Or you can't play gay, or you can't play
mhm,
this. Yeah, of course you can, but like I said, we're in an overcorrection. So I think that one of the areas that, let's say I wrote a transgender character into an upcoming project, or I wrote a disabled character, differently abled character into an upcoming project, I would really try to go out of my way to because, like I said, the one thing about the disabled characters is, let's say you're, and this was my take, which was, well, maybe if you're I don't know if this is a horrible take, but if you're a
please.
quadriplegic actor,
Mhm,
realistically, there's not going to be that many roles for you, right?
you're right.
Like you could say, well, cast me as anything and just write the scenes so that I'm always sitting or this and that and that. Okay, but again, it goes back to casting a movie is about financing and money. It's not about making everybody feel better.
Yeah.
But the problem with casting an able person to play a disabled person is that the disabled person can only go out for those parts of disabled people. They can
Mhm,
only play people that are disabled. The abled person can play a multitude of roles. They've always had the ability
mhm,
to play the whole Bryan Cranston playing a quadriplegic thing or paraplegic.
mhm,
Um, so that's kind of the part where I'm just like, okay, well, if I am gonna go into like non-binary people or trans characters or something like that, then I would want to feel better about my research and about my process, because I would want to give some of those actors that opportunity that they normally wouldn't have.
right.
They would still have to be right for the part, but I think that's only fair. How do you feel?
No, I completely agree. Like, especially when it comes to roles where, like you said, they only have that option. They have to play a paraplegic or quadriplegic character. Why not begin the casting process by looking at the people that fit that role? And then if it's not, they're not good actors or whatever, they're not the right part, then yes, you can branch out. But yeah, I would say that that would be a good way of going with the overcorrection, but not overly too much to the point where, you're not letting actors act, I guess.
Right.
I think
And
that's
then
where we're at right now, but I do think this is an ongoing conversation that's going to continue for
yeah,
so long as films are being made.
they'll be like I said, it's gonna go. There might be a correction back the other way where it's like, okay,
That's true. That's true. I was actually okay, so in my acting class, sorry, a little tangent, but there was actually a scene that's two partners did on stage, and and the main topic was a white man in the fashion industry, and how he was just lashing out because he's in this world where he's like, white males are being oppressed or whatever. So it was kind of like that scene that we're talking about, like the over correction, kind of like going back on it. I hope we don't go there because that's gonna be fucking terrible. I don't know.
and then I did see this earlier and I rolled my eyes, but no,
Okay.
enslaved by vegetables. I don't think they should have real child molesters play child molesters on film.
I think you mentioned enslaved by vegetables. I think you mentioned that last week as well. And that's a viewpoint of very
if that's the hill you want to die on.
Yeah. I think that's a good example of the stringent, you need to let actors act and anybody can play anything.
Listen,
Because if
Javier
not, then you're
Bardem
gonna
is not
get a
Cuban enough, and Ruby Rose is not gay enough. So,
But that's a valid point though, right? Are you gonna let child molesters play child molester? I'm just saying everyone has their viewpoints, and when it comes to the whole let actors act viewpoint, I think that the enslaved by vegetables just gave a pretty good
well, it depends, Sophia.
POV.
Did they crush their audition? I'm just kidding.
I know, right?
I'm just.
I'm somewhere in the middle, man. I'm somewhere in the middle. I like the overcorrection. I don't want it to go too far, but
Look, I'm against child molesters being in movies. Okay, can I just put
I'm
that out
against
there?
child molesters just being in life.
Yeah,
Okay.
all chomos
Can-
must die. Please, come on.
yes,
That's
please.
not even a thing. All right.
No.
Another one more in Latinidad news. Latinidad
Mhm.
news.
Good news. Yes.
A Mexican American is the first Latina president of the Harvard Law Review. Priscila Coronado, 24, born and raised in California, is making history as she heads a law journal whose first her first black president was Barack Obama in 1990. So Barack Obama was the president of the Harvard Law Review, and now Priscila Coronado, 24, from California, is a she's cute too.
Hey, she's only 24. Back off.
She's only 24.
She's only 24.
Hold on a second. Half your age plus 7 years. What would that be? I'm just kidding. So a bit of good news. We want to not only highlight issues to Latinidad, but also positive things that are happening within the culture.
Yes.
So, another baby step. Her legal interests include education law and disability rights. When the academia, she plans to work as a summer subject. So she, fuck. If anytime you take the job that a young Barack Obama had at Harvard,
You're doing something right.
you're doing something right. So shout out to Priscila Coronado, Mexican American, and good luck to her on her endeavor. Did you I know you're like an academic. An academic.
Yes, I mean intellectual, yes.
What's the equivalent for like your field in terms of like the
highest peak that you can reach, or
because you have a master's or a doctorate?
master's, yeah. A master's. I mean, I guess if you're gonna go as far as to just the educational peak that you can do in most fields, it would be a PhD,
Doctorate.
or a doctorate. I mean, well, it's the same thing, but yes, become a doctor of something. But in my specific field, I work in the field of applied behavior analysis, and so the highest you can go is become a board certified behavior analyst. So I am a little bit away from that. Just need to get my hours and pass a board exam. Yes.
Look at you bragging
I
on
know.
yourself. Good job.
But I am not a president at Harvard Law, so Congrats to Miss Coronado. I love seeing Latinas thriving, dude. Oh my god, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
So shit, man. Well, Barack ended up being president, so she could end up being,
The first Latina president of the United States, bro.
no. Well, okay. Do you think they would ever let AOC be president?
God, fuck. That's hard. That's hard. I don't know. It's not about she would have to sell out a little bit to
Sell
the
out what to the
DNC.
center?
To the DNC. No, just to the DNC because you know the whole like you have to be working for the system, kind of like the way that Biden, Bernie was winning, and then all of a sudden everyone ganged up on Bernie, and it went to Biden. Whatever the DNC says, that's the
The
candidate that they're
the
going to
the
win. Whoever they
deal the
pass.
deal the deal where Barack called Pete, Amy, and everybody
Yeah,
like the day before the South
literally,
Carolina
like,
primary and was like, "Hey, you
yeah,
guys need to drop out."
yeah. And then they were
That
like,
part.
"Yes, master. Yes, master. We'll drop out." And then it was like all of a sudden Biden wins, and he was like not even a non-candidate. She's too left like Bernie. I agree with Sophia. Dizzy Miss Lizzie. Yeah. I don't even know that she's too left. I would dare say that she is to the right of Bernie. Um, but she is part of the squad and she's not a figure that is popular when it comes to like all of America. And then the DNC itself needs to back somebody that's going to be a corporatist, which she currently is not. Listen, I do see her selling out in the next 20 years. I'm so sorry, AOC lovers. I don't see her staying fighting the
So
good
you're
fight
saying
forever.
so you're saying there's a chance.
I'm saying there's a chance. There's some votes that I've been, because listen, I check some votes sometimes, and there's some votes that I'm like, girl, I don't know. I don't know why you're doing that, but okay. So I don't see her fighting the good fight forever. If she sells out eventually, I can definitely see her winning, but the DNC needs to back her. And for them to back her, she needs to become a corporatist at some point. Currently, she's not, but I don't know how far away she is from being that. I hope she doesn't. Love having, Latinas on our side of the working class.
Yeah, I think she's a tailor-made enemy, like
Hmm.
ready-made for like red, like MAGA
Oh, yeah. I
fucking
mean, she's
savages.
young, Latina, a female, uh, opinionated and loud. I mean, come on. Yeah, she's like prime. Yeah.
The incels would go insane,
Oh,
and
God. Yes.
I mean, Hillary was a totally normal, totally benign centrist,
Mhm.
corporatist, military fucking
Hawk.
warmonger,
Yes.
the whole
All the
thing. Um, but people just fucking hate. The DNC did not realize how much people just hated her,
yeah.
or how they could be made to hate her. And people do not like her. Like
Well,
even
yeah. It was also a lot to do with the reaction from Barack Obama's I don't want to say failed presidency, but it was a lot of empty promises that did not deliver. So when you have people in the middle that aren't on Barack Obama's train because they actually like, believe in him. They're more so like,
you know,
okay, he promised change and then he didn't deliver it. Those
he had
people
a
are going to switch to the other side.
he had a
So then you
super
have
mirage.
Hillary.
He had
Huh?
60. He had 60 a 60-40 majority in the
Super
Senate.
majority. Yeah. Oh yeah.
He had a super majority in the Senate, and he didn't do shit. He didn't do
He didn't
immigration. He,
no.
he spent all his money on healthcare that they fucking hated, and he deported more people than all the other presidents.
Mhm.
And what he got, he gave people fucking Obama cell phones, and
Yep.
he was a centrist, and he fucking drone stroke billions of.
Yeah, didn't stop the wars, didn't I mean
Didn't close Gitmo.
Obamacare, which is basically price gouging and just fucking putting the insurance companies as the middleman. It's like a fucking mafia. So no, yeah. So I think he failed in a lot of ways. He succeeded in some other ones. But what I mean is a man that came in saying like preaching change, we're gonna do this, free education, blah, blah, blah. If you get 2 terms of that and you get nothing for it, then I mean, same here. If I would have lived through all of that, I mean, I guess I did halfway through it, but like I'm not saying that like I would have voted for Trump, but I understand the people that did flip because then you have a chaotic man who's like, fuck the system, blah blah blah. Those people that are very neutral that wanted to feel that change and didn't get it, I see why they would switch over. And it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, because I mean, the policy, the emails and Benghazi, and
Yeah,
well, it was
it's all
just
noise.
the AOC playbook for hating her would be, what is it going to be, her and Ron DeSantis going up against each other? I don't know,
I
man.
know. Speaking of Ron DeSantis, oh girl, let's get
The,
into this fucking
the,
LGBT bill.
all right, hold on a second. Conspiracy theories about the Clintons law, they underestimated them, and that document that came out before the election. Yeah, it was basically the Swift boat, like when they did Kerry, and then all of a sudden, like a week before the election, all the Swift boat captains came out and talked shit about John Kerry,
Mhm,
and this was against George Bush, who didn't go to the military, who got pulled over, fucking coked out, and had DUIs, who was a fucking
mhm.
drug user. John Kerry served in fucking Vietnam admirably, and they just put all these bullshit stories about him with the Swift boat shit, and
Uh,
people believed it. And then for Hillary too, the emails, the things, the
right.
all the shit that was, and you're dealing with very susceptible people to bullshit.
Oh yes.
They know the whole playbook, and they're not afraid to use it, as
Mhm,
opposed to the Democrats, who are, they feel that they're going to still adhere to the rules and the spirit of the game when their opponents are just doing, they're playing checkers when the Republicans are doing Machiavellian just stay in powers. They're like, we're trying, fuck this having a platform and having, no, we're just going to say everything you say is bad, and we're going to literally try to subvert democracy, and we're going to try to change local legislation so that we decide what electorate to send, so that we can still,
mhm,
that's all we want. They just read Machiavelli. The number one rule of being in power is stay in power. Whatever the
mhm.
fuck you have to do, stay in power. Yeah, but let's jump into LGBTQIA. Any other missing letters? I apologize.
Same.
News.
Mhm.
And go ahead, Sophia.
So yeah, basically, I mean, you brought it up with Robert Santos. Basically, there is a Florida legislation that is being considered, currently has not passed, but it is called the Parental Rights in Education Bill. And what it will do is it's meant to ban discussions of sexual orientation and gender identity within schools. So we're talking like primary grade level.
Is this
And
the one
then
where they can't
also
say gay? They can't say gay in
yeah,
class?
yeah, so it's called don't well, that's the popular name. Don't say gay bill. That's like because it rhymes, sounds cool. But it's the Parental Rights and Education Bill is the title, but don't say gay is the name of that is popularized. Don't say gay bill is what I'm referencing here. And what it will do is it bans discussions of sexual orientation and gender identity within the school classroom from primary grade levels. And here's the kicker, any instance deemed not age appropriate. So yeah, so that's a very that is a term that you're like, well, what is age appropriate? Then you can extend it to any level. And then also it also extends to counseling. So you can even talk about your sexual identity within the confines of your guidance counselor, which is where kids can go to talk. Yeah, so Governor Rob DeSantis supports this bill, and yeah, there's that. And I am thoroughly disgusted by this society. Oh, Florida. Florida man. What do you think?
De-
What do you think?
defend your state, Kurt. Kurt recently moved to Florida, and he hates it down there.
Oh God.
Look,
Oh.
this goes on. This is all part of the same playbook. What is the extreme right playbook? The extreme right playbook right now is turn on anybody who doesn't co-sign on the election lie. They turn on everybody who says that. They turn on any Republican who just says normal stuff. Like they make what's her face's Cheney, Liz Cheney,
Hmm.
daughter of a warmonger, daughter
Dick
of
Cheney.
Cheney, the fucking instigator of
Yeah.
a fucking war that killed thousands of America. They make her sound normal when she says the election wasn't stolen. She is so far right, and they are so much further right.
Hmm.
Um, the so that's that's that. Then they go after cancel culture while they themselves are trying to cancel things that are
Cancel
bad.
everybody. Yeah,
Cancel
everybody that
everything.
cancels anything, they cancel them.
They're
Yes.
they are literally having book burnings. They
Mhm.
were trying to get mouse out of libraries and stuff because that it's Holocaust talk. God forbid somebody learns about the atrocities of the Holocaust. Um, they come up with these catchphrases that make people angry, like critical race theory,
Critical race theory. Yeah,
which
exactly.
not one person, not one fucking person. It's a term used in academia.
In like
Uh,
college, and
there's
it's
a
a
yeah, and
theory. It's
it's a theory, and it's basically just saying critical of add race to the equation when you're studying the history of a people or of a time and place. You have to take into account the race.
yes. It's like
That's
it's
all. That's
talking
all.
about
That's all it
intersectional,
is.
and
That's
yeah,
that's it. That's all that is. It's nothing. But when motherfuckers are winning elections in counties and and states where they're not even using critical race theory,
Mhm.
and they're winning because 90% of their message is we will never have critical race theory in this state if I'm governor. They
Mhm.
didn't have it. Nobody's asking for it. It's not being taught. They are just campaigning on not ever having it.
On anti-CRT principles and
Nobody
values.
nobody can define it. They just know they don't like it. It's like pornography. I can't define it. I just know it when I see it. That's basically
Yeah.
what they're saying.
But it goes to show the outrage culture and the just contrarianism
Both of them are
that
doing the same thing.
is, yeah, both, it happens on both sides, where like if you say um I don't know, like on this side you say something like a term CRT, you popularize it, and then all of a sudden it becomes a trigger word, and then if you use it, then you can get elected. If you pander to the alt right, um enslaved by
Def-
vegetables. That
that
seems
seems
fine.
fun.
Shouldn't it be left for the parents to discuss with them instead of schools? So here's the thing. I think that while that is a valiant thought, if you're gonna say that parents should be the sole source of the knowledge that their kids are getting, then you shouldn't send them to public school. You're going to school to learn and to learn about different topics. Sexual identity, gender identity and sexual orientation is something that should be brought up in health class. It should be something that kids can talk about openly, whether they feel it or not, because guess what, if someone is queer or queer identifying or questioning, and they can't talk to anyone about it, especially in Florida, where the point of this bill is to silence kids, to have parents monitor their every move, you're going to have more kids committing suicide. That's just what's going to happen. You don't have less gay kids. You're not going to beat the gay out of your kid. Okay? Just because you're not talking about it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So this, for me, like the book burning, it's just one of those things that you're scared of knowledge. You're scared, and so you're silencing it. There's nothing to gain from it. The Holocaust fucking happened. Get the fuck over it. And we are not the better by fucking hushing our ears and not learning about it.
Yeah.
And the same thing goes with sexual orientation. The same things go with any topic. And just because you find it difficult as a parent, I feel like that makes you an inept parent, that you can't fucking be mature enough to talk about it with your kids. Okay. And if you have to hide it to the point where you have to make a legislative bill to silence them from their school, which is a public school and should be able to talk about public health issues like sexual orientation or gender identity, especially in the confines of psychology and counselors, then no, you're not a good parent. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry you're not accepting, you're not loving, and you're not a good parent. That's all I'm going to say. Go ahead.
Well, nice rant.
Thank
Well,
you.
I would say there are certain things that should be left for your parent, right? There are certain
Such as
things. There's
Santa Claus.
yeah. You decide when you want to tell your kids Santa Claus isn't real. You decide what religion they're going to be for the most part. If they're
No,
unlucky.
even then I will, like, I agree. I agree to a certain extent that like you should have
Well, let me
say,
ask you real quick.
primary say.
How do you feel about the bills in like California and New York to allow kids to get vaccinated without their parents' approval? What do you think about that?
To get vaccinated without their parents' approval?
Yeah, kids that are
At what age,
14,
does
13.
it start? 13?
Let's say it's 13.
Is
Do you
it
think a
13?
13-year-old should be? I'm just saying. Let's say it's 13. Do you think a 13-year-old should be able to get vaccinated without their parents' approval?
I'll say yes because it has to do with their body and their health. Like the
It's
same way
both.
that a 13-year-old, you're pushing it, but yeah, I'll say yeah because let's say a 12-year-old
11.
gets pregnant. Here's the thing. First of all, how
That,
much
yes or
agency?
no? So
How much?
yes or no, Sophia?
No,
11.
you're pushing it down though. You're saying yes or no, but I'm like
Okay,
11. Well, where's the
11.
line? I'm not.
We're trying to figure out the line
You're trying
right
to find
now.
the line. Okay.
13 okay, 12 okay, 11.
To do something with their bodies.
No, not to do something with their bodies, to get
They're getting a
vaccinated.
needle, yeah, to get it
Yeah,
vaccinated.
their
What I mean
parents
is to
are
make a
their
health
parents are and their parents not a full health decision.
mhm.
Because if you ask me personally, do I
I'm
feel?
thinking who's gonna drive them?
I think I have a very antiquated position on, for example, and I'm just being more educated about trans issues than
Mhm.
before. Because honestly, before months and maybe a couple of years ago, I was kind of on the transgender exclusion from sports or creating just a singular non-denominational league where it's like if it's just going to be like if that's going to then there should just be like an open competition, right?
Oh, I was on that point too until I learned about how hormones worked.
Right. So I'm
Yeah.
just being more educated on that. So
Mhm.
my opinion on that can change. But I still sort of, just because I know what it's like to be a kid between 12 and 18 and
Mhm.
how you think very seriously about some things that now seem ridiculous to me. Like if
Mhm.
I would have gotten the first tattoo I wanted when I was 15, it was a guy with an arrow through his head. It was like a cartoon
Yeah.
character with an arrow through his head sitting in like a lake of water. I remember seeing that. I thought that was the coolest thing. I wanted to get a huge on my arm, and
Mhm.
I would have felt stupid if I would have gotten that. It's not the same. It's nothing near body autonomy or making a decision about like your gender at a young age. But I still feel for like major hormone therapy, parents should still, I think, have control to a certain time. Maybe, but then there's a lot of stuff about kids that start taking hormones and stuff really early, and then they go to, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like what's the right age to transition? Should you be able to do stuff to your body before you're 18? Stuff like that. So I'm
Right.
not talking about that. I understand about that, and I'm not fully involved on my thoughts on that because I'm learning more about it and I'm trying to learn more about it. But
Right.
if we're talking specifically, kids and their mother and dad are anti-vaxxers, right?
Mhm.
They're freaking crystal mommies, like,
Mhm.
and we know some of them, and their kids are 13, and then you said, their kids are 13. The kids kind of woke, or the kids like sees all these kids,
I
and
want to get vaccinated, mom.
the kid goes visits his grandma on the weekends,
Mhm.
and he's like, I want to get vaccinated. No, we're not. You're not getting. When you're 18, you're no. But the government of California says, hey, if you're a kid and you feel you want to get vaccinated, even though nothing else about you can control until you're 18. You said 13 was okay, 12 was okay. Is 11 okay?
So here's the thing. I don't know. I don't know. That's one question and one issue that is, in my opinion, fully separate from the topic that we're at hand. I don't see how it because I see that one more in line with with the transitioning one. So would an 11-year-old be able to transition without their parents' consent? I don't know. And my thing, you're sticking needles in each other and stuff like that. It's a medical process as opposed to mine, which is just an educational process. So the medical process side, that's when I get a little more like parents should be aware, right? And if you live in an abusive household, sucks. It sucks. And hopefully you have an empathetic human that will listen to you. But it's different when it's a health issue
Mhm.
than when it's an educational in your public school system. Because if you're a parent that doesn't want their kid to be exposed to education, then fucking homeschool them. Don't send them out to life where they're going to hear ideas. Because guess what? Even if you disagree with something, I talk to Trump supporters all the fucking time. Okay. So I'm just saying that, like, if you're scared of an idea, book burning. If you're scared of like some information getting to your kid, or God forbid them feeling a certain way about their sexuality and not being able to voice that because then guess what? They're going to get expelled. No, I think that's stupid. Now, if we're gonna, we can't equate that to like doing something with our body. Do I think abortions? Do I think that vaccinations? Do I think that transitioning? All of that should be legal at 11? I don't fucking know. That one is like, I think that doing something with your body at that point and having the parents not know, should they be ignorant to it? I don't know. I think it's a case by case basis.
Well,
If I put myself as an 11-year-old and I wanted to get my vaccine and my parents didn't want me to, I would fucking hope my aunt would take me. I don't know, but am I gonna fucking sit here on a fucking pedestal and say like it should be across the board legal or across the board not legal? I don't know, because that's
I
up
didn't
to
mean to
people's autonomy.
take the
But you know what I
conversation
mean?
with.
Of like they're not equated in the same way, right? One's about
No,
knowledge and just talking, and the other one's about doing something with your body. So they're very different, and I have to think about it differently.
okay, I get that.
Yeah.
Now, basically, to close up what I was thinking about the
Hmm.
education stuff is forever colleges have been seen as like liberal hubs, bastions of education, just because academic types tend to be more left leaning, more liberal, more
Hmm.
bohemian. You think
Yeah.
about your poets and your tweed jackets, and that's always been, and that's always the knock. You get a high school kid, they go to their first year of college, they take a philosophy class, and they take this and that, and they learn about
Hmm.
Marxism, and they come back and they're like, oh, the government and
You're a
corporations,
commie now.
blah, blah,
Yes.
blah, blah, blah. So
Socialist.
yeah, you're right. If you don't want your kids to get an open-minded education, then yeah, you should just homeschool them. But
Put him in a
the thing
bubble,
is, like,
sadly.
what these guys want is they don't want them to be homeschooled. They just don't want those radical ideas coming home, and they feel that they should be able to control the curriculum, and they feel they know more than educators, and I just feel that there's no so they're like, oh, they want to cancel the children's author Dr. Seuss.
Oh yeah.
They didn't cancel Dr. Seuss. There was a
No.
couple of very horrible caricatures of African
Mhm.
Americans and Asian people in his books, and the family decided we just kind of don't want to keep publishing that. They didn't
Yeah.
cancel Dr. Seuss. They didn't cancel Green Eggs and Ham.
I paid him a lot of
Um,
money a few weeks
and
ago, so
so you cannot equate that to saying I don't want to read a book. I don't want my kid to read a book about the Holocaust. I don't want my kid to read a book about the first interracial marriage and how it used to
yeah.
be.
About
I don't
something
want,
that exists, right?
yeah, and like,
Gay people exist. People should know they exist, because then
and
what
like,
happens if they don't know?
and like Gina Stroud, the teacher
Mhm.
in the great movie Dazed and Confused, said in 1993, when
Yes.
the kids were about to go on Fourth of July breaks. Okay, guys, one more thing this summer when you're being inundated with all this American bicentennial Fourth of July brouhaha, don't forget what you're celebrating, and that's the fact that a bunch of slave-owning aristocratic white males didn't want to pay their taxes.
Yes. Oh my god, I love you so fucking much for saying that quote. That is one of my favorite quotes of like all time. I love
Yeah.
Dazed and Confused. Great film.
So there is no universe where not knowing that, like I said, the truth always comes out.
Yeah.
The internet exists. Doesn't
Mhm.
matter if your kids read Mouse in the in 10th grade, or if they read it on a PDF on the internet. They're
Mhm.
going to read it, and for the most part, kids that grow up racist sometimes interact with people of other races at school and realize, eventually all kids realize that their parents are full of shit,
Yeah.
right? Because your parents are very often, or parents from our generation and before, haz lo que yo digo, no lo que yo hago. Do what I say,
Mhm.
not what I do. My dad was horrible at that, because he would want me to do stuff and then he would do the opposite. And at some point, I'm like, yeah, I guess I understand. My dad's my hero, my dad's whatever, but I guess I can put it into more perspective too. Um,
Mhm.
and that goes along with racism. That goes along with other stuff where your parents and stuff might see it, but then all of a sudden you have a black friend in school, and then you start learning about different cultures in college or different shit, and you're just like, oh, learning is good.
Yeah.
Does it create some leftist hippie antifas? Sure, sure.
Maybe.
There's a
If
lot of nut
that's
jobs on the far left too, but I
listen,
don't think
yeah.
overall it's bad.
No, I think exposure breeds acceptance and understanding. And my thing is just don't block exposure. I think that kids need to be exposed to the fucking world and to all races and all sexual orientations and all things, because guess what? They're going to be exposed to that at some point. And the kids that are brought up in a bubble. I was brought up in a cult, okay? Guess what happened when I got out? I was like, holy shit, this is life? That's crazy. So Mormonism.
Oh,
Yeah, so I'm just saying.
you still have your magic underwear though, right?
I do. No, I actually do still own it. Yeah, yeah. It's really
Making
fun.
sure.
Real sexy, real sexy. No,
Yeah,
it doesn't fucking
glamorizing your founding fathers and basically saying that they were infallible is
Mhm,
not the way to go. You people are complex. You can't
mhm.
just say America's great the 1800s.
America's a
Don't we
melting
don't
pot.
we don't
Yeah.
talk about that. Well, yeah, the slaves were
We
here,
don't
but
talk about Bruno. No,
they
no.
got fed, and you know what I mean. Like they were some slaves got treated pretty good, and
Yeah.
like
Yeah, America's great. Yeah.
that's not that's not helping anybody.
No.
So yeah, so that's that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Knowledge is power, people.
knowledge is power.
Let's not cancel knowledge.
All right, moving
They're
on.
trying to cancel knowledge, Lou.
We will not
We will
cancel
not
knowledge.
cancel it. We need
Not
to
on
start
my
being
pod.
that's my thing. The left needs to start being as reactive as the right. Just like whenever they say anything, just be like, they're snowflakes, they're canceling. That's what I'm gonna start doing.
They both saying the same thing to each other, basically. All right, moving on to
All right.
our next topic of the day. Um,
Where are we going?
fat shaming.
Yeah.
So today marks the anniversary. Not the anniversary, but this happened a few years ago, and there's something about the dancing man thing. It happened about 4 or 5 years ago.
Mhm.
This big dude in the UK basically was at a party or somewhere at a club, started dancing. A couple of piece of shits took out their camera and started laughing at him and taking his picture.
Mhm.
And the guy was like ashamed, and the quote was she's like, we caught this specimen trying to dance, and he stopped when we saw him, which is a fucking cruel as fuck,
That's so
right?
mean.
That's so
Oh, I don't
fucking
like
mean.
mean people.
So fucking mean. And then basically after that,
Mhm.
bunch of celebrities like Moby said he would DJ. A bunch of women came together and said, "Hey, can somebody find this guy? We would love to. We would love to just dance with him, because everybody should dance." So it kind of was like, "Hey, dancing man, blah blah blah, come dance with us." And then the guy kind of went on a tour and stuff like that. So and in the end, it ended up being a good day. Now, fat shaming, and might not be able to tell, um, but is something that's okay. It's personal to me. In general, I am not opposed to fat shaming. In when it comes from I don't know, man. Like maybe a certain amount of fat shaming is okay. Like not that, it's just that I've never had a problem with it. I always said you can make fun of my weight as long as it's funny. If you're
Mhm.
just, if you're just gonna say, yes, Lou, I am gonna finish this, or if you're just gonna take, cheap shots or something like that, or if it's not funny,
Mhm.
um, that's kind of what I judge you on. But if you make a fat joke, like and it's fucking funny, I'm gonna give you props for it. I'm not really gonna care. It's just when it's
Mhm.
cruel or unfunny that I have a problem with it. So
Gotcha.
somebody and Joe Rogan, I've had an issue with him, and this kind of ties into the Joe Rogan thing because he had
Right.
the N-word issue last week where they clipped
Mhm.
together all his uses. But basically there is this thought process from the right or from the anti-vax crowd that's basically like old people and fat people, fuck them.
Mhm.
If they die, they die. You know,
Yeah.
like and somebody that we know who's a personal trainer made a post the other day, and basically the post was, if you're overweight or obese
Mhm.
and you think the vaccine is going to save you, you're wrong.
Oh.
So, I mean, I'm not
Hmm.
gonna say who it is, because I don't want to give them any props or anything like that. But basically, let me see if they still have it up. Oh, they might have taken it down. I did report them for harassment. What? I'm sorry.
Okay, all right. Can't wait for this pod to end so I can ask you all these details.
I guess they took it down, but basically
Okay.
and then they put up a video saying like, "Oh, this being honest is not bullying." Um,
Doubling down. Love it.
Double
Great.
down. But basically,
Okay.
like if you're fat and you're
Mhm.
obese or overweight, and you think
Mhm.
the vaccine is going to save your life, you're wrong. So the point when somebody says that is very similar to the Joe Rogan thing, which is like, "Oh, these fat people think the vaccine is going to save their life." They're still fat. They're still out of shape. They're still not eating right. They're not doing
Mhm.
this thing that comes very naturally to me, but might be difficult for them.
Yeah.
So, fuck everybody that has that take. Okay.
Yeah.
Because, number one, you know, vaccine could very easily have saved my life. I didn't realize when the pandemic started, I didn't realize I was diabetic. Right.
Mhm.
And diabetic is I was fat and I stayed at home and I took care of myself and I got vaccinated the first week the vaccines came out because I'm a caregiver. Um, but I didn't realize that I was diabetic until very recently. So if I was not vaccinated, if I wasn't taking care of myself, I do think I'm 90% sure that I did have Omicron at some point. So the vaccine very well could have saved my life. Now, if you're saying the life choices that I've made, and I do want to point out that my name is Big Chief Burrito, and my company's called
Nah. You're
2 a.m. Burrito. Um,
you're at
Now, if
worst
you want to,
medium-sized burrito now. So
yeah, thank you. And I have lost a lot of weight. But so if you want to tell me the choices that I've made, and I'm drinking just water now
hmm
as opposed to a soda, and I have stevia in my coffee instead of sugar. Um, if you tell me the life choices that I made don't makes it so that I don't deserve to
hmm
survive a pandemic, and
Right.
that you're okay with me not surviving a pandemic because as long as you're not inconvenienced, then fuck you for that too.
hmm
Um, and so I think, and again, shit, pandemic's not over. I'm not. I do think that I'm going to get boosted, but for the most part, I've been sick and I've been taking care of myself, and I'm a much healthier individual, so I feel okay. I don't know what's going to
hmm
happen, and hopefully numbers keep going down. California is loosening up shit, blah blah. I go out, I take my vitamin C, my quercetin, whatever, and I understand the place that a personal trainer that's in incredibly good shape is coming from when they say that. But it is still a
hmm
bullshit place
Yeah.
because so I feel like people say there's no fat shaming. And again, I don't think you being skinny is a racist act. I don't think you being in shape and being happy about your shape is a microaggression against me. I
hmm
don't mind you being proud of that. But you have to be cognizant that losing weight and being in physical shape is much deeper than just that. Here, I'll give you an example real quick. Give me 2
hmm
seconds.
Okay.
As my entire body blocks out the screen. Okay. I don't even know if you'll be able to see this. So
Okay.
you see this picture?
Oh, papi chulo. Yeah.
All right. You can see I have a
Whatever.
you can tell that I have the shirt open, so I have a little bit of man boobs there, but very tiny. You can see a little shadow, right?
hmm
But I don't look like a fat kid there, right?
No.
I felt in my mind the way I look now when I was that size. So I had a
That's
little bit of a belly. I had a
yeah.
little bit of a belly. I was a bigger guy. I had a belly, and I had like some man boobs. This was 1994. I was a good-looking kid. This is
hmm
1994.
Okay.
Um, I felt like I look now then. So
That's
that's the joke.
interesting.
That's the joke about feeling big when you're a kid.
hmm
Once me at 17, 16, 18, I would kill to be in that shape right now.
Mm.
So if I thought back then that I was obese, even though I was just a little chubby for a teenager, then my weight gain can't be 100% just me being a lazy fuck. I've had knee
hmm
surgeries. I can't work out too good. I have other issues, blah, blah. I psychological stuff that goes back to your childhood, using the way food was used as a constant and reassuring aspect in my life during trauma.
Yeah.
My
No, that's layered,
relation
and we're not even getting into genetics at this point either. So,
genetics, I'm
hmm
talking more about the relationship I have with food, right?
mm,
So for me, it's incredible. I mean, I went up as high as 375. I'm below 300 for the first time like in 10 years in my life. I'm at 290. At my heaviest I was 375. So, and it's been incredibly hard for me just to do that. Like incredibly hard. I've been to the gyms. I've been to, I've
hmm
gone on diets, and there's still something in me mentally
hmm
that, even though, listen, I can think like this. 5 years ago, I'm single, or I'm, like, Lou, if you lose 50 pounds, you will get laid 10 times as much as you do now. I'm a fat guy with a personality that's funny. So even though I was overweight, I still did okay for myself, lady
mm.
wise. And you can attest to that. So
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
you know who I, because I, and there's an old Artie Lang joke, which is, who I feel sorry for? The serious fat guys, because they
hmm
never get laid. So, but if I had a conversation with myself 5, 6 years ago, I would have said, Lou, you can get laid 10 times more than you do now. All you got to lose is lose 40 pounds, and you're good. You already got the personality. Just lose 40 pounds. Don't eat that second burrito. Don't do this. And I knew that all these things could be positive for me. Like, I knew
hmm
them. I'm smart enough to do that. But my body and my mind won't allow me to take that step.
Right.
I understand if personal trainers thrive on that business. They want somebody that's in a desperate position like myself. I've tried this by myself. Maybe what I need is a really in shape person to insult me and tell me that I should do meal prep and that I should exercise every day. Because that's what a
hmm
personal trainer does. They motivate you. They tell you to eat sweet potatoes and fucking grilled chicken breast and string beans. And they say, eat that
hmm
7 days a week. Make sure you do your cardio and your exercises and pay me my money. This is what their job is.
Most importantly.
It's for people that do that. So I know it's long winded, but I hate that thought process. And
Mm.
and I don't know if I hate the fat shaming part of it or the manipulation part of it. But from my personal experience, weight loss is incredibly hard, and I'm still working on it. So for you to tell me that I'm not worth saving because of
hmm
life choices that I've made, that is just a cruel fucking joke. That is
hmm
one of those the cruelty is the point type situations for me. So to that personal trainer who shall not be named, but they're invited on the pod to discuss that, because I got my takes. Um, yeah, fuck you. Fuck you.
I would love to mediate that debate. Um, yeah, because what's the
Thanks for
justification for
stopping by.
that?
Sorry, Lou.
You know,
Daniel says you can do it, Lou. Thank you, Daniel. I heard you're a log.
Daniel.
I heard you're a log cabin Republican now, Daniel. Tell us about that.
Hey, Daniel.
Go ahead,
Um,
Sophia.
yeah, no, I mean, listen. Hmm. So it's fucking offensive, first of all, to somehow combine what health wise someone is worthy of because they are of a certain group. Um, yeah, that's fucking offensive. That's terrible. I never liked when people have this in group out group us versus them mentality. Um that's when you lose all my trust to begin with, right? If you can't be a little somewhat sympathetic or empathetic towards the group of other, then I just can't talk to you. The conversation can't go any further. And whether it is financial reasons that they are being this discriminative, or it really is that they probably like have a deep seated, deep rooted hatred toward fat people, regardless, it's an ugly look, dude. It's just not cool to tell somebody that, hey, you don't deserve to live through this pandemic because you're fat. You're because you're overweight. Therefore, you're less than. I don't know. I just think that that's fucked up. And I would love to hear his reasoning behind why that mentality is a
Oh, so
thing.
you assume it's a male trainer?
I do. Oh, it could be. You're right. You're right. There's my biases. Was it not?
Wasn't. Oh, you want me to tell you if it was a male or female on
Yeah,
stream or off?
I mean, I guess. Was it a female?
It
Females
was
are
a
all.
female. It was a female. It was a female.
Oh, now okay, I've narrowed it down in my head now. Okay, cool, thank you. Um,
The best
yeah,
was the
no.
follow up video where she was copping pleas and saying sharing information is not bullying. There's facts, and some people are gonna be fat and get the vaccine, and it's gonna affect them recently. And what should really be focusing on is living a
Is
healthier
losing weight.
lifestyle, and obesity is a disease. No shit,
Eat
motherfucker.
less, you
I
fat fuck.
mix in a fucking salad. I'm eating fucking asparagus and fucking chicken every day.
But
You want to fuck?
that just shows how fucking not only unsensitive but like insensitive, but also just like not educated their viewpoint is. What do you have to back your fucking viewpoint? Nothing but discrimination. Like you really have no, if you look into like any fucking article, any peer-reviewed article, you're gonna find that obesity and reasons for being fat are much more layered and diverse than just be like, you're a lazy fuck and that's why you're fat. Like,
Listen, yeah. We wrote an entire sitcom pilot that was based on the fact that fat people were the only minority group that you could still make fun of freely. And we wrote this sitcom pilot maybe 10 years ago when you could still
yeah.
do that. It's nothing but fat jokes. I won a pitch competition with it. And it was a funny concept, but we realized it's that I'm not a snowflake in that regards. Like I said, if the fat joke is funny, I will laugh. Like what I remember one time I was talking to my boy Anthony and I was trying to figure out how to say like a stoop or a step ladder or something. And Anthony busted out, I bet if it was a burrito, you know what to call it. And I was like, damn, that is hilarious. If it
You
was a
fucking got
burrito,
me.
if it was a burrito, I would absolutely know what to call it. So there's nothing wrong with that. And like I said, I don't go. There's extremes out there where there's fat kids on TikTok that are like, and I can say fat because I'm fat. I'm just kidding. There's fat kids on TikTok. I don't that are saying like you being skinny is a microaggression towards me and blah 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 and you
No,
must
mhm,
you must teach. Okay, I do think that the full on body positivity thing is not helpful to me. I don't want to be told that I'm
you're
beautiful no
beautiful.
matter my whatever the size is. I see myself
Mhm,
in the mirror. I don't feel that that is positive. Do I feel that kids should be able to love themselves and that the everybody's beautiful at their own size? Yes. Do I feel that Joe Rogan is right and that other podcasters are right when they say that not enough emphasis is being put on this is how our society should be healthier rather than just get a vaccine that's going to save you? Absolutely agree. Do doctors only look to fix symptoms rather than to help you change your lifestyle so that you don't get sick? Like when I went for my diabetics treatment, they were like, here, take these pills. This will lower this will lower that. What about shouldn't I diet? Yeah, you can diet. That'll help it. You can do a diet. If you're going to do a diet, then don't take this pill. Like, yes, is medicine symptoms driven rather than preventative health driven? Yes.
mhm. In the
Should there
United
be a
States.
Yeah, should there be much more emphasis from the government during COVID times saying, yes, we're going to do a vaccine, stay away, use masks, but also mix in a salad, you fat fucks, do some exercise. All these other things are also going to help you fight the vaccine. Get your
Mhm,
yes, absolutely. Do I feel that that there's too much body positivity? Sometimes, because if you're promoting 600-pound life and making
mhm,
people like that celebrity, is that something that I should strive for just to be a fat? No, I do. I understand it's not. It's nuance. It's not as black and white. Nothing's black and white. And I don't.
mhm,
And I do think that there's an extreme of anti-fat shaming and uber body positivity that I don't agree with because it doesn't work for me. You
mhm,
telling me you're perfect does not work for me. I do need to. That's why I say I do need a little fat shaming. I want that as a motivational goal, but there's a multitude of reasons that any individual has issues and struggles with weight, and it deals with, like you said,
mhm.
biological issues, DNA, uh,
Mental health.
trauma, mental health,
Mhm.
trauma, their blood type, their
Yeah.
fucking the cities they grew up in, what kind of
Ableism.
what
Mhm,
they have access to, their fucking
yeah.
their fucking monetary positions. Why is a
Mhm,
fucking double cheeseburger $1 but a fucking salad is $7 at Wendy's? You
mhm.
know, Anyway, that's my rant.
Both of us ranted today. Wow, look at us. Shit.
We're already at 2 hours, and we're supposed to be
I
keeping this to an hour.
Yeah, so I think
We
we're gonna
blew
push back.
past it.
We really did. I think we're gonna keep Ukraine and Russia till next week. It's just gonna keep getting bumped
We're not gonna do Russia and Ukraine until we're in the middle of World War III.
until once
World
it's
War IV.
once there's fucking bombs thrown, just nukes. They'll just be like, by the way, did you hear about Russia?
Yeah.
I just want to say a little something about the anti or fat glorification or whatever. I do think that there's a little bit of an overcorrection when it comes to the body positivity movement, and I agree with you that not only that, but like there's also this like skinny shaming that takes place, and then the rhetoric of like, oh, we're all beautiful, and it kind of enables not seeking a healthier lifestyle, all of that. I think that people just need to be more balanced, and we need to swim in the nuance, man. Okay? It's not black and white. We're not going to be like, wow, we're all perfect and like we don't need to seek health. But then also, you don't have to fucking jump to the other side and be like, fat people need to fucking die and y'all shouldn't even get vaccines. You're not worthy of love. Like, bro, calm down,
Yeah.
you know?
I mean,
So,
yeah. The real reason you're dying is not because of COVID. It's because you're fat fuck.
Yeah, like,
The vaccine's not
yeah.
gonna save you, you fat fuck. Oh my god.
Yo, and that is the centralist perspective. Yeah, so I don't know, man. Just we all just need to fucking be a little kinder to each other. Okay? How about that? Okay?
Kurt says, when you're ugly, there are no parades.
When you're pretty.
You're pretty much on your own. Yeah, no, there's no
That's true.
parades for me. There's no parades,
Yeah.
Kurt. No, moving on. Like I said, that was just something that stuck with me. Thanks for stopping by. Interesting chat, BPXM. Appreciate you.
BPXM, thank you.
Make sure you guys leave a like if you're watching online. It helps out the channel a lot. I also want to just take a chance before we move on to our final topics here. Let me see. Mestizo Coffee. Mestizo.coffee. Proud sponsor of the Mi Gente podcast. What I was going to say is one of the names that I thought about for the podcast is sort of something that deals with like the gray area. I thought the gray area pod, because I think that I'm very gray area minded in terms of like not black or white on any subject. I do love to explore that nuance that I think we both do.
We do.
But yeah. But
that's why we'll never get fucking viewers, because there's either like alt right or alt left, and then everyone's like, you guys are in the fucking middle. Shut up.
There's more gray area than you would think, right? And I would love to. I would love to do that with somebody, because I think I'm centrist. I would love to do that and have like somebody that's right wing but is open to talking and having a conversation with that. The closest we have is Kurt, the Florida man, but he's more of a Rogan head. I'm just kidding. You know where there's no nuance, Sophia.
Where is there, Lou? Where?
In good coffee. I was coffee shamed several months back because I was buying Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts coffee and putting it in a Keurig, and I was told that was not cool anymore. What you need to do is get you some top shelf Mexican flow, some Mestizo coffee, single origin, fair fades, all the good stuff. Organic, all the shit that you want in fancy coffee, except it's coming from Latinos to Latinos. The Fruit Bomb, if you want some fruity coffee. They got the Neon Chocolate. They got Black Love, Route 66. I am drinking the 420 Conic Colombian. And they're really a cool sponsor of the program, Mi Gente podcast. So check them out, mestizo.coffee. 10% off if you use the code Big Chief on any purchase. I also want to give a shout out to one of our guests that's going to be here. It's going to be Tuesday on my other podcast, Fireside Chats with Big Chief Burrito, and that's the homie Keaton Jones. He's got Black Comics Day at the World Beat Center on February 19th and 20th. They do not have mushroom coffee. They have the coffee where they get the meerkats to eat it and then they shit it out. No, I'm just kidding. So Black Comics Day is a celebration at World Beat Center here in San Diego, California, of Black comic book artists from all over the world coming together. Makeda runs the World Beat Center. She's a legend here in San Diego and in the reggae community. So for more information, go to kid-comics.com and you can find the link there. I'll be talking to Keithan on Tuesday in anticipation of the event. So I want to give a shout out to that. Also, the San Diego Latino Film Festival, which I am a proud curator of. I've just finished the process of curating 2 comedy showcases. It's going to be about a dozen short films, and I'm also curating about 4 or 5 feature films live in San Diego coming up in March. There's going to be a virtual festival as well, and the Migrant Voices Film Challenge still open. They're looking for short 5-minute documentaries that deal with immigrant stories from across the world, not only Latinos, anybody that is a migrant, stories about how they dealt with the pandemic, other stuff. Still open until the 18th. So check them out. The Migrant Story Film Challenges is still open for, and there's $5,000 for first place. So if you know somebody that's got a 5-minute doc about immigration, tell them to hit us up. And that has been the promos. I did have a couple of things before we wrap up here, Miss Sofia.
Yep.
All right.
Couple of
And
things.
give me a second here. Another news story that popped up. The Dutch bow to egg Jeff Bezos' yacht if a bridge is dismantled to let his boat pass. So there's this famous boat here. Not famous. There's this the Dutch port city of Rotterdam. There is a plan in place to dismantle this bridge because apparently Joe Rogan's super yacht, can't go through there. So
Wait, Bezos or Rogan?
Jeff, what did I say? Jeff Rogan?
You said Rogan, so
Okay.
Bezos, right?
Not that Joe Rogan couldn't afford
He could afford it. I mean, hey, but
Jeff Bezos is CEO of Amazon. He wants to have this bridge dismantled, which is like a
oh my
landmark,
God.
so that his yacht can pass through more easily. What are your thoughts?
Okay. Wow. I mean, what the fuck are my thoughts gonna be? Like, that's fucking trash.
It's just trash, just trashing it. Did you mute yourself, Sophia? Can you hear me? Okay, you can hear me, but you are mute. Did I mute you? Your mic isn't connected, is what it's telling me. Okay, so you go. Yeah, Jeff Bezos. Yeah, she's muted. Her mic is disconnected. Yeah, Jeff Bezos can afford to do.
Did it work now?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay.
What was your point there?
Oh, I had nothing constructive. It was just so trash. I don't know what to say. Oh God. If there's any demographic that can get me angry more than anything, more than Trump supporters, more than the alt-right, it's fucking multi-billion.
Billionaires.
Yes. God.
Billionaires are the worst.
They're the fucking worst. Okay, like I need my super yacht to fucking walk through here, so let's just kill this fucking like memorial fucking bridge or whatever.
Let's dismantle this fucking famous bridge. What the fuck you
Yeah,
need it
because
for?
why not? I'm fucking Jeff Bezos, bro. God.
All right. Your lady boner is your lady boner up for the Kate McKinnon as Carol Baskin?
Oh yeah. I saw that was one of the commercials in the Super Bowl, huh?
Yeah. They were promoting the hell out of Peacock, but Kate McKinnon's Carol Baskin impression is feeling very SNL in this first Joe versus Carol. Well, she's a sketch comedian.
Mm-hmm.
So they're saying maybe it might. I don't know. Is this supposed to be like a serious show?
I don't know. I thought it was a parody. I don't know. I didn't quite get it, but I mean, I'll give it a try. Give it a watch.
All right. So Lady Boner is activated for you on that show. Are you excited for your girl?
Not necessarily in the Carol Baskin wig and look, but you know, I have an eternal love for Kate McKinnon. So, yeah, always Lady Boner for Kate McKinnon.
Always got to have the Kate McKinnon. All right.
Always.
All right. And then I had a Am I the Asshole for us? Well, actually, we had two.
We have any NoNamezWei.
We had two. I don't know how serious they are. Mia
Gotcha.
writes in and says, "How does one get NoNamezWei is our anonymous server, uh,
Advice column.
anonymous advice column server. The two questions that we have here is one of them is from Mia. She writes, "How does one get a sugar daddy?" Well, I believe the website is seekingarrangements.com.
Seeking arrangements. Ashley Madison. What else?
Ashley Madison.
I don't
I
know. Isn't
mean,
that like a cheating website? Just get a
Ashley Madison was the big cheating website back in the day.
yeah.
It was
Yeah. Wow, I'm
ch-
dating
and
myself
then
again. It doesn't exist anymore. I'm gonna go on it.
and they got
Hold
hacked,
up.
and all those people got exposed at some point.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. Fun times. Does it still exist? Oh,
Okay,
it
so
exists! Oh my god! I'm gonna make a
what?
profile.
Ashley
Ashley
Madison?
Madison. Yeah. It says life is short. Have an affair. I'm making a fucking profile right now. I'm giving myself a sugar daddy, Mia. Um,
Uh, I don't know. I guess how does one get a sugar daddy? Have you ever been tempted to jump on the sugar daddy train? Have you ever been offered a sugar daddy type
oh yeah.
situation?
Oh yes. Yes. I've been super tempted. Are you kidding me? I don't know where one finds one though, but I have always been tempted to do the ones that like you don't have to have sex with them. They're just lonely and they just want conversations. Because if I can do anything, it's talk. So and
Cold,
listen. And
cold,
listen to rich
cold,
males.
cold-hearted bitch.
Yeah. Well, listen, cold-hearted bitch or trying to be an educated Latina, because you know what? Education is very expensive in this country.
We don't sugar daddy shame here.
Thank you. Yeah.
No, but
No,
so
I
you,
don't. Yeah. So, I mean, I have parents, so they'd be very disappointed if they found out. I'd be very nervous to get a sugar daddy.
I think you don't get sugar daddy. The sugar daddy gets you. Well, it depends on the
Yeah,
relationship.
that's actually a good point. I've had a lot of bots, or maybe they were real people. I don't fucking know, but get in the DMs, and I've had a lot of friends as well. There's this one
Uh,
guy that got into like all my friends' DMs.
it was just like, hey, I want to take care of you. I want to give you money.
Yeah, yeah, shit like that, and then you're just like, yeah, you just
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
reply. But yeah, yeah, I have no idea. If you figure it out, please fucking let us know.
I think you just throw it. I think you throw the bait out there on the Instagram, and you start throwing you throw the thirst traps out there, and then you check your DMs, and then you because there's also the Tinder swindler, that stuff's going on.
Mhm.
You go out there, and then you ask for account numbers, and you figure out what their net worth is, and then you decide whether is the juice worth the squeeze. You
There you
know,
go.
you
There you go.
gotta if you gotta blow this old 50-year-old white dude every couple of months so to get your apartment paid off.
I'd say that's worth it. You have
Is it?
plenty of sex for free.
Yeah. The fuck. I don't know. If there was an opposite, if there was a sugar mama, I don't know what I would
Oh
be
my
willing
god,
to.
I would the things I would do for a sugar mama, okay? Because not only free money, like money, and then I get to have sex with a hot older woman.
Are you?
That's my demo. I fucking love hot older women.
But
Give me a
is your?
good solid 40, 50-year-old. Oof, go crazy for him.
But that's well. Don't you think that like uber attractive 40, 50-year-old women don't necessarily need sugar?
Give me a semi attract. Give me a middle of the road, good looking 50-year old who's just lonely.
Like Pam from The Office.
Yeah, there you go. And I'll go crazy for that shit. I'll be like, yeah,
What was
do
was
some
it?
things.
What was the there was another commercial today that was at the with one of was it Alicia was the one of the redhead actresses
Ooh.
where she was
There's
with the kids. She was like they were like playing with remember they were playing with like the Barbie dolls. It was like a
oh
Rocket Mortgage
yeah.
one.
Wait, the short one. She's not redheaded. She's Pitch Perfect,
Yeah, from
right?
Pitch
Anna
Perfect. Yeah,
Kendrick.
yeah.
Anna Kendrick. Anna
Anna
Kendrick.
Kendrick. Okay,
Yeah.
that was who it was. That was
Mm.
another funny one. And then
Random as fuck. Not even related.
no, I don't know why I thought about her
I was
honestly.
like, she was the sugar mama. Is she apply? Does she have applications? Because I'll submit one.
Yeah, I would submit for Anna. Yeah, Anna
She's
Kendrick.
a tiny thing. She's a tiny short thing. Is that you're right? She's like short.
She's a short little
Oh,
thing. Yeah.
Anna Kendrick.
Okay, here's another question from Big Dumb Man. We had him on the goofy side. I've been having a hard time. Uh, I've been having a hard time in deciding between having cereal for breakfast or cold slice of pizza. Now, the
Mm.
cereal is healthy granola style cereal, and the pizza is a bit on the oily side. So, my question is should I sleep with my best friend's sister?
No, don't do it. It's not worth it.
It's goofy, but
What do
there's
you say? Definitely pizza, right? No.
you can't go. I mean, cold pizzas in a Coca-Cola is Coca-Cola is
But
well.
it's greasy. And
And then
also it's his fucking best friend's sister.
Enslaved by Vegetables says that one is mine. What the fuck part of anonymous
It's
server do
anonymous vegetables.
you outed yourself?
I guess enslaved by vegetables can't be his real name. The
Uh,
question was
that was his alter ego. It wasn't Kurt asking that question. It was actually Enslaved by Vegetables. Should you fuck your best friend's sister?
that was the
Are you
question.
talking about like? Are you talking about like best friend, like you guys
Yeah.
grew
No,
up
let's just say
together?
best friend. Best friend.
Let me tell you something about my best friend's sister. I fucked her.
Chandler did it. Worked out for him, so
Chandler did it. Friends.
yeah.
I don't remember. Friends. It was so bad.
Monica Ross. Okay.
Oh, that's true. He did end up
But he
fucking.
married her. So that's always my thing is like if you're gonna fuck your best friend's sister, you better fucking marry her. Because if not, think about the drama.
Or Ron Burgundy rules. At least take her out for a nice fish dinner afterwards. I mean, if you're gonna take her, if you're gonna fuck your best friend's sister, all right. Does it change? Does it change if it's a woman? I mean,
Like
me
my
fucking me.
best friend's
Yeah.
brother.
No. You fuck. You have a best friend. Let's say I had a sister.
Okay.
We're not best friends, but we were good
Okay.
friends. And you fucked my sister.
Okay.
Would you?
Would I? How hot is the system? No.
Now, if you asked me the same question, I would have probably said yes.
I know you would have. And then you would have told me, and then I would not even be shocked by it, is the thing. So I'm like, would you
Right.
be shocked? Because you would expect me to fuck your sister, right? We know this of each other.
Yeah, I think it would be like I would be like,
You'd be like,
I guess
oh, that's weird, but all right.
I would have been like, yeah, no, I guess
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it's okay.
I'm gonna say it's weird.
I'm gonna say it's weird too.
It's okay. I don't know. It's really because also the age as well. Like, do you live with your sister and then when you hang out with your best friend, you're gonna see them constantly? Like that's different. Whereas like, oh, we fucked at I don't know, you're like in your 30s and you accidentally had a one night stand at a wedding, you drunkenly fucked, and then you're like, hey, best friend, I fucked your sister. I feel like that's like, okay, we can get over that. Right. But if you're
Uh,
like 16, 17 and you're living with the sister and then now you're having to go over to play Xbox with him and she's there and
yeah,
in
that's
love and
definitely
shit.
that's definitely an issue that you have more problems with the younger you are.
The
I
younger
think
you are,
that
yeah.
that 19 early to mid 20s energy
Mm-hmm.
is
It's like,
definitely
don't
like, how
do it.
fucking dare you fuck my sister?
Yeah.
You're
But
supposed to be my boy.
exactly. But like us, I feel like I'd be like, yeah, all right, Lou fucks my sister. All right, I guess that's what happened. My
Yeah,
sister has dated friends of mine before. And it's
really?
always, yeah. And it's always weird. And I'm just like, all right. And then I've dated her friends as well. So, and we're just like, all right, I guess that's happening.
Must be a Mormon thing.
But no, it was actually very un-Mormon like. They would
Is there is there like an alternate universe Sophia that's like a sister wife somewhere? Like do you think that like
Probably.
there's like an alternate universe that's like
Probably because I was very devout for a good few months there.
Mhm.
Wasn't a good look for me. No.
Wow, that's
Few months, I said. At least a little bit. Anyway,
this is always solvable. Problem is not. Okay.
exactly.
That makes sense. No, I think it depends on the age, and I think it depends on how it's gonna. I mean, sex within a friend circle is always going to change the dynamic, no matter what. It's
Mhm.
always, even when your best friend gets a girlfriend, it's like they don't hang out as much. Da 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 da. Let's say your friend gets a girlfriend, and it's I got a girlfriend. Oh, we're not hanging out as much. Guess what? It's your sister. Oh, well,
Yeah.
I guess I'll see you at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's that big of a deal. It just depends on the relationship, and I think
Yeah.
the older you get, the less those things become important because you're
Yeah,
like, hey,
I
my
think-
sister needs to fuck too.
Yeah. The closeness and the age, I think, are very important. You know?
There was an I am the asshole that I want to bring up, which was the last thing, which was, and they took
Okay.
it down, but I sort of remember what it was. It was from she was a African American girl,
Mm-hmm.
and she was part of the bridal party for one of her best friends that was getting married.
Okay.
And basically, it was, am I the asshole for refusing to go to my friend's wedding because they're having a plantation wedding?
Like on a plantation. On a
like
plantation.
like on a plantation, a
Okay.
plantation wedding. Let's go to the south to an old plantation and get married there. And by the way, you are my African American, one of my best friends in my circle of friends. I want you to be part of the wedding party, and I want you to come to a plantation.
Uh, I don't feel equipped to talk about this. I don't know. What would be the Latino equivalent to that?
I don't know, maybe like a destination wedding in like Spain. I don't know if it was like, or like, I don't know, it maybe in like I mean, there's, you could go have a plantation wedding in a plantation wedding is a wedding at a plantation.
Because
It's
because here, no, I understand. And I
no, I was
understand the
answering a question
deep-seated
in
like,
chat. No, but I'm saying
oh,
like,
oh, okay, okay.
what would the Latino equivalent be? I don't know if it would be
I'm
like
just trying to
Spain,
emotionally
but you
get
can.
there.
But there's maybe if like you were having, maybe if you wanted to get wet at a castle that used to, or maybe
That
there's
used
got
to
to
like,
be
I don't know, the horrible
there's
happenings happened there.
yeah. I don't know if getting married at
Um,
the top of like an Inca thing where they chop people's head off would be the same thing, but I think it's a very unique to the
yeah,
United States. Like I can
it
understand
is.
that, like
And
I mean, fetishizing like the antebellum South. I guess that's what
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
that's doing.
yeah. Because I mean, there's an argument that could be made for any type of architectural, like uh yeah, fanaticism, just like anything. It all kind of stems from racism and colonization. So it's weird, right? Okay, so the wedding's at the plantation, and you're refusing to go
Plot
because your best
twist:
friend.
she got it wrong. It was actually the soup plantation.
Ah, oh God.
That's a better reason.
You're
That's actually
done.
a better.
You're done, bud.
That was actually a better reason not to show up. Oh, you're getting married at the soup
At the
plantation?
soup plantation.
They ain't got no
Hey,
fucking meat
they
there.
closed it down because of COVID, and I'm fucking sad about it. I love soup plantation.
I remember that it was like a big thing when I first came out to San Diego, like in the late '90s. Oh,
Hmm.
we're gonna go to soup plantation. And I was like, "Oh, sure." And then I went there, and they had like some sausage in one of the soups, and they
Hmm.
had pepperoni on the pizza, but that was it. They didn't have no steak, no chicken, no nothing.
It's very healthy.
It was all soup and salad, and I was like, "What the
Soup, salad,
fuck
and some
is this
breads. Yeah,
place?"
yeah. But
Uh,
back to this one. It's hard to say. I don't think I have the answer. I will say I understand both sides because plantations at the end of the day, even though they had horrible happenings, and I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying that they are a mansion with really nice fields, which are prime time where weddings occur. Right? So I'm just saying that it makes sense that a wedding would happen at a mansion with a nice field. Now, is it insensitive? Yes. Would
yeah.
I would get married in a plantation? I would probably avoid it. I
And
would probably,
you wouldn't tell your
and
black
I wouldn't tell my black friend
friend
to go out of her
right,
way
to come to it. Yeah.
to come to the plantation. It's very insensitive.
Yeah, they took that
And
post down, I think, because there was a big conversation happening. But the main thing of it was that that after she said no, I'm not going, people were like, "Oh, you know, you're making too much of it." Like you said, it's a beautiful place for a
it's a beautiful
wedding,
place and it makes sense, and
and then
slavery is no longer happening. So I understand that justification, but then you also have to understand that like generational trauma doesn't go away.
yeah,
And if you
somebody
are
compared
get
it to having to like the people that go on picnics at like Holocaust museums and stuff like that.
yeah, okay, okay, that's actually I can see that. That's actually yeah, because why would you go on it? Let's say if yeah, let's say I was dating someone who was Jewish and I was like, "Hey babe, let's go on a date to this Holocaust museum."
Oh, let's
Where they
get
burn,
married.
but specifically where they burn the bodies, like not the nice
Mm.
places in the museum, specifically where the chambers.
Uh,
It's romantic. Like that's a bit odd. I don't think she's wrong. Uh, and then I think that I don't know, man. It's hard because I just think it's insensitive. I just think it's one of those things that like she's not wrong for wanting a wedding in a nice house, but
Mhm.
it's very insensitive and short-sighted
Yeah,
to not
to
think
do
about
that.
your best friend. Yeah, to do that. Like why
Yeah,
like
like it
there's
would. I
plenty
can
of places.
like
It's
hell.
plenty.
What about I mean, like, what year is it again? Oh, it's
Mhm.
2022. It's not 1984. Okay, because if it was
What about you? Yeah, wait,
1984,
wait, wait, what's your take? Are you more on the side of like she should have gone or not?
no, she absolutely should not have gone.
Like,
And I
yeah.
think it's absolutely ridiculous to think that, I don't want to say get away with, but to think that people are not going to have an issue with a
Mhm.
plant, because the whole point of the plantation is, like I said, to fetishize the old South. And,
Mhm.
the people that are at these plantations are going to be dressed like in the same garb as, they're gonna
Was that
like you said.
specified in the story?
Oh, I'm imagining what a plantation wedding is. They're gonna
No, I
be
don't think it's a plan. Is it a plan? I don't think it's a plantation themed wedding. It's a wedding at a plantation,
at a
right?
plantation, but the thing is, you're
Doesn't have to be
at
themed.
at and the beautiful fields are where people used to get whipped and murdered
Lynched.
and lynched, and
That's why.
the beautiful trees are where people used to get hung from.
eh,
And so just the fact that you
ah,
would consider that location as the place where you want to get married means, it has to mean that you either have some sort of family roots that take you back to that plantation, or somebody that has access to it, and it ends up being like cheaper for you to do it or something like that,
mm,
or you are romanticizing and fetishizing that antebellum South time period. And if you're trying to be a healthier person in modern times, you have to be more more aware of
mm,
yourself, right? And
mhm.
so I feel that she's definitely not the asshole for refusing to go. And all the people that try to get on and say, hey, you're making too much of a deal with it, it's just a nice place to have a wedding, are also stupid. So that's all I got to say about that, as Forrest
Yeah.
Gump said.
Yeah, and I think yeah, and I think that listen, if you're gonna be if you're the one who's choosing to have it at that place, you're doubling down. You're doubling down, whether it is because you just are
Yeah.
numb to it, you just don't care. That's cool. All right, you don't care about that. You don't see any problem with the history. You think it's over and whatever, right? But then you can't whine when people do have an issue with it because you're doubling down on that place. You're choosing that. So for someone to have to that has a choice, an attendee, to say, "Hey, I don't feel comfortable with that. I'd rather actually not go." You can't sit there and be like, "Ah, how dare you? Like now you have to go." Like, no, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah,
I don't
either
know.
say, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, this is important to me, and I understand if you don't want to go, but
Yeah,
it's something that I want to do, and I understand if you don't want to be a part of it. I wanted
I
to
understand.
invite you, but I understand that you don't want to go. Not
Yeah,
getting mad because of something. Um,
exactly.
I just think something like a wedding should be special, important, not
Not
glamorous. Yeah,
glamorous.
I
Yeah.
mean, if you want to get married, it doesn't really matter.
Mhm.
People love each other. All right, so
It's
two
true.
hours and 27 minutes.
All right, we got to still work on it. It's still is it shorter than last one though? Last one was like 3 hours almost, right? So we're getting there. We're getting
Yeah.
there.
I don't know. I felt like we started, and I looked up and we were already at an hour and 11
I
minutes,
know.
and I was like, how the fuck
Well,
are we?
because the first hour we ranted about Super Bowl commercials, and
Yeah,
then
we
we
did a lot
went
of
off
Super
on
Bowl.
we went on a tangent about Euphoria, like topics that we didn't even plan. So if we stick to the topics, I believe that we can do 1 hour 30.
Yeah, we can stick to it. Thank you for everybody that joined us, BPXM Day. Yeah,
Thank you.
we got more lurkers, and also we got a lot of people watching on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, different chats and stuff like that. So we're pulling comments in from other places. But I do
Super
appreciate
appreciate
everybody
it.
that joined. This is Big Chief Burrito. You can find me over on Twitter. I am 6 followers away from 1,000.
Where am I at? Go to
994.
mine. Hey, plug me, bitch.
What are you at, Sofia Carr?
Yeah,
Sofia
we
Carrillo.
follow each other. That's cute.
105. You need to step your game. You need to step.
Hey, I am a
This
baby
is
on Twitter.
th-
I
this
started
is
using it.
this would be an interesting social experiment. If you started posting like a bunch of thirst traps, like, would you get to 1,000 fast?
Oh,
would you gain
100%.
900? Would you gain 900 followers faster than I could gain 4?
100%. You don't think I look at my nudes every day and think, hey,
That's a
I
thousand
can
followers,
get
right?
that's a lot of
That's
money.
1,000 followers right
I'm
there.
choosing not to publicize sexy pictures of myself. I know.
Well,
I
it's
know.
probably that looks.
Follow, I
It's
mean,
probably the
listen.
MS in psychology that's keeping you from doing it. You talked yourself out of it.
Yeah. Also, just like I don't know. I want to pursue
Are
acting.
we? Are
I
we?
don't
Are
know.
we too smart for our own good?
God no. God no. We're fucking idiots. Are you kidding
Our
me? We're
narcissistic
just two
question of the
idiots
day.
fucking talking.
Two narcissists.
Two narcissistic idiots just talking for 2
Two
hours and 30 minutes and 30
representing the
seconds.
narcissistas Latinos everywhere. All right. At Big Chief Burrito, at Sofia Car, Mi Gente podcast, episode 2, Super Bowl rants, etc., etc. Thank you everybody else for listening and watching.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for putting up with our rants.
I'll
Today
be
got
live
heated.
Tuesday. I'll be live with Keithan on Tuesday, and then we'll be back on next week.
Every Sunday,
Talking
8
about
p.m.
hopefully talking about the Oscars with Rosa. So thanks for everybody. This is where we do the the thumbnail picture.
There you go.
All right, I'll be back in 30 seconds, Sophia. Everybody, peace out.
Bye.